Welcome to the 2023 Collegiate Chess League, presented by SIG. I am your host, Nemo, and I am joined here by Joe. Joe, are you excited for this season?
I'm so excited for this season, Nemo. I've been waiting for this for so long.
Right.
Let's get started.
I'm super hyped. All right, so we are going to be jumping into the games very, very soon. But before we do so, we'll give you a little rundown of what is the Collegiate Chess League and what is happening today. So first of all, we do have the match format here and the event format. Let's run over the event format first, where 8 teams are going to be competing in a 7-week round robin where the top 6 teams will be competing in a single elimination playoffs right after, with the semifinals happening November 18th and the finals the day after that. The first place team will take home $5,000 and second place $2,500, all presented by SIG. Joe, would you like to run us through the match format today?
Of course. Let's get into it. So the match format is just like Pro Chess League, for those of you that are familiar with that. But for those of you that aren't, it's a team format of 4v4. Everyone plays everyone on the other team, so it is a total of 16 games. First to 8.5 wins. The time control is a bit faster than the PCL. It's 5+2 blitz. And if it's tied 8-8, you will go to a tiebreak round of 3+2 blitz. And if still tied, they will repeat with 1+2 bullet until a victor is decided.
Indeed, and we are going to take a look at what teams will be playing this season. We've got some really notable teams that you might already recognize, like St. Louis. We have seen them all around. St. Louis University is also strong. There's also University of Missouri, very close by, another very strong chess school. There are also some more academic schools like the University of Chicago, Yale, Columbia. So this is going to be a really exciting season where a lot of these top teams might have grandmasters. We won't reveal all the names yet, but you are going to see how strong some of these teams are. So let's take a look at today's matchup. It is going to be an absolutely hype season, and I want everybody here to get excited for it as well, because you might hear Collegiate Chess League and think, oh, well, they're just students, but students can also be grandmasters. So we are going to be opening the Collegiate Chess League for 2023 fall with the University of Virginia playing against University of Missouri. On the University of Virginia side, we have Jason Moorfield with a Chess.com Blitz rating. Keynote, all of these ratings are Chess.com, of 2,800. And our board assignments actually mean that with round 1 beginning momentarily, we get to see the first matchups of the day as well. Joe, do you want to run us through who gets to play who today?
Of course. So this is round 1 of 4. Starting off with the board 1 versus the board 4. So you'll see Jason from Virginia is going to be playing against Begim, who's a very strong board 4, by the way, 2,700 plus. And just really quickly looking at Missouri's top boards, you see that Virginia's board 4 is going to have a tough assignment starting out of the gate against Grigoriy Oparin, who might be the strongest player in the entire league.
Yes, indeed. And actually, fun fact, I had played against Begim when I was a lot younger, so I'm really excited to be seeing a lot of these matches as they are coming in momentarily. There is going to be a 30-second stagger, so we are able to see, most of the starts of these games. We're not trying to hide any of their openings from you, but they are going to be exciting, and we are going to see Begim start off against Moorfield. So, this is a collegiate chess league, but how do you think these students also have the time to be 2,800 in Blitz on Chess.com, Joe? How do you think they do it?
Well, I think the key is that they get really good at chess first, and then they go to college.
You know what? That's probably fair.
Yeah, and I'm really excited to see how these teams are going to do. I think we have the first game starting already. So like you mentioned, Jason. Fun fact about Jason, he's actually a streamer as well. I believe his Twitch username is Chessically Inclined. Maybe some people have heard of him. I don't know if he's live right now, but definitely go check him out.
I love it. Joe, you sound like you know a lot of these people. How long have you worked with them for?
So I'm glad you asked. I've been working on the Collegiate Chess League since 2020.
Oh, wow.
So I can't wait to have all these regular season matches broadcast on the main chess channel, because normally it's broadcasted on the Collegiate Chess League channel, which it's not as good as the main chess channel. I'll tell you that. I was the host, producer. It's hard to do it all, but now I have this whole team of people to do it with me, and especially to have a host like you is going to be a huge quality add to the league.
Thank you so much, Joe. I really appreciate that. Yes, huge thank you to Chess.com and SIG for putting together the Collegiate Chess League. This is actually a very personal sort of event for me as well, because I played in the Collegiate Chess League back when I was in college. So there's a little bit of irony there where we've come full circle. I've definitely also applied to SIG before, and that's going to be an entirely different story at some point, but I'm happy to be here. I really am.
So I see we got the first game underway. Begin with the white pieces, Jason with black. How do you feel about this opening so far?
Honestly, I am all here for it. Begim's structure looks like she can push e5 right now and get somewhere really exciting with these bishops sort of lined up against the opponent's king. But at the same time, this is still, we're only a few moves in. We're only like 13 moves in, so anything can still happen. And don't forget, this is a match format, so your score might not even matter that much, unfortunately. You do have to rely on your team a little bit. Joe, are you a fan of playing team chess, or do you prefer playing individually more?
Well, I think team chess is just super exciting. I think that, like, my personal experience, I played on the UCLA team at US Amateur Team West for a couple
Wait,
of years.
you went to UCLA?
Is that news? Are you surprised or?
Well, no, I'm not trying to say that I'm surprised. I am not
Just didn't know.
surprised that you went to UCLA. I am just surprised. Okay, never mind. It's totally fine. No, basically, it's not a diss against you. I'm just surprised that you went to UCLA. Period.
Yeah, well, fun fact about me, a lot of people think my name is Joe Bruin, but it's actually Joe Lee. And Joe Bruin is my nickname that I got at UCLA because that is the name of the UCLA mascot.
Oh, you know what? That explains a lot. I think you might have explained this to me once, and I probably forgot about it, but okay, now
It's
this is
okay.
all coming together. I love it. Okay, it is all coming together.
Nemo and I are going to learn so much about each other, like, because we're going to be doing this for the next at least 7 weeks. And
Right.
we're also going to TwitchCon, so that'll be fun.
Yeah, exactly. We're also going to be at TwitchCon, so you will see a lot of us on Saturdays, starting from basically today, all the way through to playoffs on the 19th of November. But I do believe some of the other games have started, so we will be showing you the other games as well. Don't worry, we're not just going to be here watching this position where it's you know, these are blitz games first and foremost, so it can get exciting really quickly, and we don't want to rob you of any action, but let's have the producers pull up a bird's eye view very soon, just so we have a quick glimpse of what all 4 games look like. Don't forget, everybody in this tournament is going to be playing against each other once, at least once.
Yeah.
Unless we go to tie breaks, which I still have not understood exactly how that works, but Joe can also explain that to you guys.
Well, I think luckily for us, Nemo, I just am going to predict that this match is not going to go to tie breaks. I think
Great,
that,
awesome.
not to sugarcoat, anything, but this Mizzou team is almost going to be one of the favorites to win the entire league.
I was actually going to say, the Missouri team looks like they could go and do pretty well at the Olympiad. You know, like every 2 years, there's this event in the chess world called the Olympiad. And for some, it's glorified vacation / with a little bit of chess. But for a lot of the top teams, it is really, really strong. Winning the Olympiad is a very big deal for your country. Of course, when there are 180 countries participating, some teams are not as good as others. But this team in particular, with an average rating of, I don't know, 2850 or something, would absolutely crush it at the Olympiad. I would send this team to the Olympiad. Missouri, I mean, they're just so good. They just look so good.
Isn't Oparin one of the Olympic players? I mean, he could be if we want to check out his game. He's the board 1 for Mizzou.
Yes, let's take a look at Oparin's game. As we are here watching him play against somebody who is 800 points lower rated than him, as
Whoa.
Oparin makes a slight inaccuracy. I know we all see the question mark over the knight, and the reason that this isn't that good is because white has bishop takes h6. And I love this move because I call this the Cyprus gift. You know how when you take on h7, it's called the Greek gift? So I found out that this move, and Chess.com chat, my chat, you guys can correct me if I'm wrong. This move doesn't have a name, so I gave it the name a Cyprus gift. But anyways, if white plays bishop takes h6, this is really powerful here because after g takes, there is queen takes, and this is just an extremely strong attack. Black isn't fully developed yet, so white can go for the attack. But unfortunately, it looks like white missed that opportunity and instead played bishop to g3, which makes sense, preserving, the bishop pair. However, missed a very vital attacking opportunity.
I mean, that's okay. So first off, I never knew it was called Cypress Gift. Where'd you come up with that name?
Okay, so to be completely transparent, I was thinking of multiple names for it. We suggested things like Turkey, and we suggested things like Albania, and then it was met with some resistance from the chat. So I was like, Cyprus is pretty neutral. Everyone likes Cyprus. I don't remember any like Cyprus drama, and it's right below Greece, below in big quotation marks over here. So I was like, you know what? It's going to be called the Cyprus gift.
So it was a team effort with your chat.
Exactly, but it only makes sense if you're watching it from the point of view that's the person taking it, because otherwise it would be above, right? So anyways, it only works if you're watching it from one perspective, but that's totally fine. I like the name, and Danya approved the name, so therefore it's the new official name for sacrificing on h6.
If Danya approves, I think that makes it legit. But
exactly.
I mean, that's a hard move to play against a board. I mean, Oparin, like as a board 4 for Mahim, that's hard to pull off. Like maybe he looked at it. It's a common sacrifice, but like it's hard to see it following through. So I totally understand why he would play the more reserved approach, bringing the bishop back. And it looks like we have a couple more moves coming in. Some trades. And look at the clock. Maheen's like already kind of in a think tank. Oparin still has more than half his time left.
I just have to say, I really like the duality in their usernames. Oparin is all their professional with Oparin Grigoriy. Meanwhile, Maheen is spicy Indian swag. I love the duality of Collegiate Chess League. This is going to be a lot of fun. We're going to have a lot of fun, Joe.
Oh my God. This is, I mean, I've been doing commentary a lot for the CCL. And it's like one of my favorite Chess.com events that they put on. I know that they just finished the Speed Chess Championship yesterday. Did you watch that?
I did. I did a recap of it on my channel as well. I mean, I'm fully expecting people in the Collegiate Chess League to play on equal strength as Magnus and Hikaru. So expect the same quality of games, guys. It's going to get there.
One of these days we're gonna get Magnus to enroll in like a part-time program for his master's degree or something. We'll put him on.
Does he even have his bachelor's? Do we know if he has his bachelor's? Has he been to school in the last? I don't even know how old he is, but in like the last 20 years.
I wouldn't know, but looks like Oparin has damaged Maheen's pawn structure in front of his king. I was wondering if, like, it also looks like the bishop pair is working really well though for white. Like maybe capturing on f6 and then getting in on h7.
Yeah, sorry. Indeed. I was going to say, I feel like this king to h1 move is a good idea because you're trying to slide the rook over. However, black does have the advantage of king safety right now, and also one pawn, I believe. He is also up one pawn. I am still very bummed that white did not sacrifice on h6 earlier in the game, and now he's sort of just defending against a grandmaster. His position is a lot more rough. This is not a move you want to make. You're giving up your pair bishops for a chance to give a check at the king, where the king will just slide over, and then when you give another check, the king will just keep moving. So
yeah,
white's attack here is unfortunately a complete illusion. And I feel like, yeah, this is... Oparin is too good of a player to feel scared at this point.
This is going to be pretty much finishing up really soon. Like you said, he was up a pawn. He picked up another pawn. Looks like the structure is going to fall apart. F3 is hanging with check, by the way. D4 is hanging now with that check. The queen is hanging. So the queen had to go back. And the checks are coming in now. Is this going to be a mate? Looks like that's a forced mate there. So
it
that's
looks
going
like
to be...
it's over.
Oh, we have another result as well. Antipov has won his game, I believe.
Yes, let's go to the bird's eye view where we can see all of the games. Here we are able to see that on... whoa. Antipov has won already. We have Begim still playing against Jason, where she is unfortunately not doing very well. I'm just shocked. We come in here and this rook is just pinned. She tries to threaten the queen to force it to move, but I think Black is actually going to be winning this game. So once again, it's not over just yet. Even though Missouri is much higher rated, Virginia is fighting. They're fighting, and I love to see that. So we are going to be seeing.
Oh man, can we look at this last game? We got Owen versus Raja. We haven't looked at that one yet.
Absolutely. Let's jump into this one. This is actually pretty equal at this current moment. I think a few moves ago, Black was... Oh, as I was going to say, Black was actually completely winning. And White has retreated the knight, which means that G5 comes in, threatening this knight. This is such a crazy position. And I also want to remind everyone that these positions are really crazy because they're playing 5+2.
Yeah, they're looking off that 2-second increment.
Yeah, I remember the days when there was like the Collegiate Chess League and we were playing classical chess. Not to, talk badly about classical chess or anything, but I would have played the Collegiate Chess League a few more times if it wasn't 5-2 time control. I remember the days.
Are you thinking of Pan Am's?
Oh, maybe I'm thinking of Pan Am's. Maybe that's different. Maybe Canada was never in the Collegiate Chess League.
So, yeah, University of Toronto, I think at one point might have been. They're not playing this season, unfortunately.
Okay.
But, yeah, Pan Am's is a classical OTB event that Toronto's definitely played in a lot of times. But how crazy, I think Owen is up a piece against Raja. Isn't that insane?
That is insane. I mean, their ratings might not be that different. 2700 Blitz versus 2739 Blitz. You might be like, oh, these guys are pretty similar in strength. But not saying that Owen can't become a grandmaster. He is not currently a grandmaster, whereas Raja is. And I think that's kind of the stark difference between the Missouri and Virginia teams, that even though, Missouri has these titles, Virginia is fighting back just fine. This game will probably go to a draw now. Unfortunately, with the Rook Knight, it's very hard to win this position. However, it is a shorter time control, so anything can happen.
Yeah, this game's far from over. Obviously, we see the eval shows a 0, but look at those clocks. Owen is up a little bit, like a couple of seconds. Like maybe Raja could flag.
Maybe. Big maybe. There is a 2-second increment per move for chat to keep in mind, so you can't go for a dirty flag basically ever, but you can always try.
I think Owen has to give up his knight.
Yes.
Oh, Raja, he's gonna sack the knight. Oh,
wow.
Queen on the board. So Raja's gonna pull this back from losing to now a win. That gives Mizzou a 3-1 lead going into round 2.
Is pretty crazy, actually. That was a very intense finish at the end there. With the queen promotion. I mean, I just want to run back and show this tactic to everyone really quick. Here it is still a draw, however, Black has to be extremely careful. Even a move like king to g6 is probably a draw, so yeah.
Looking at the overall score for round 1, it's that last game there was huge, because if Owen could have converted that, it would have been tied 2-2, but instead we have a 2-point lead for Missouri. Which might be all that they need, really. I don't know if Virginia is going to have any chances to come back after this. I mean...
Wow, that was really harsh.
Sorry to Virginia. Like I said, I was not going to sugarcoat this matchup. Like, we're not going to go to overtime. Like, if they kept it 2-2, maybe, but that might just be it.
Okay. Well, this is only round 1 of match 1, and there's 4 rounds because everybody has to play against each other once. We can all hear that Joe is not a believer in Team Virginia.
Are you? I mean, what do you think?
I don't know, man. Like, I'm always rooting for an underdog story. Sure, I hear you. Maybe having 3 grandmasters and a woman grandmaster on one team is perhaps a little overkill, but I would say University of Virginia actually did really well. Right today, I think they did their best, and it's only a 2-point difference right now. I would say they have still a fighting chance.
Well, I mean, I'm optimistic generally, so we could see the biggest comeback of all time, like the biggest upset. So, okay, let me give you guys another quick rundown of the format of the league. It's a 8-team round robin. This is week 1, so this is going to be the biggest mismatch that we're going to see of the season. Actually, this is the number 2 seed Mizzou versus number 7 seed Virginia, and the match we're seeing after this is going to be even bigger with the number 1 seed SLU playing against the number 8 seed Columbia. So as we go throughout the season, the match is going to be a little closer. In fact, we'll see Mizzou versus SLU the final week of the regular season, week 7. So that's going to be a really big one. But starting off week 1, these matches are going to be a little tougher for these teams.
Yeah, and that just means you gotta keep watching. We actually are also going to get player cams, which I'm really excited about. We've got Raja facing off against Jason coming up right about now.
So yeah, round 2 is about to start. We do have that game started, and this is also the first time that we're going to have player cams, which I'm really excited about. These players, they normally compete just like without much of an audience. Like I said, we've been streaming on the Collegiate Chess League channel without cameras at all. So this is a really fun opportunity, not only for us to see what's going on, but also for these players to be on the stream.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think everybody on the Missouri team has played super competitive chess before, but maybe not necessarily everybody else on the other teams. And I think this also gives everyone a good opportunity to show off their chess skills while also studying in university and potentially applying for that SIG. So I'm all here for these games. These are going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, round 2. I'm really looking forward to see how Jason's going to do. He's got the only point so far for Virginia. He's obviously their top board. And even though, like I was saying, the team might be against all odds, they still have some very talented players who could get some really good results against some of these top players from Mizzou. So even if they don't get a good team result, they could still have good individual results. And so there's still a lot to play for. Not to mention that the score matters for the tie breaks as well. So obviously the first 8.5 wins, but I think Mizzou's going to try their best to get as many points as possible. Same with Virginia, because those points matter.
Yes, absolutely. Those points do matter. If you follow the PCL, for those of you who might have been on my stream and followed PCL, I was the team captain for St. Louis, actually, funnily enough. So I am familiar with some of these teams. But they are going to be in close contention at the very end. There's 8 teams. Every point counts. Yes, we are going to be covering the entire season. And here we actually see Raja against Moorfield. I'm not even sure what's happening. If it feels like, let's go back a couple of moves, that Raja simply gave up a pawn. He decided that he does not need the a6 pawn for reasons that I don't fully comprehend, for understandings beyond me, since he's the grandmaster, so therefore he must be right. But he has given up a pawn and also given up the exchange. So, you know, I'm not too sure. I think Jason has a pretty good handle on this current position.
Jason came to play today, dude. He won his first round. He's about to take down Raja. I mean, Raja, kind of a rough start, honestly, after that first game. We saw him struggling against Owen and was barely able to claw it back in the final seconds of that game. So who knows? Maybe Jason's going to carry Virginia for the comeback.
Yeah, I would personally... I'm all for that. I love a comeback story, and I also love an underdog story, and I also love close matches, because, you know, if Missouri just blows Virginia out of the water, then I would just feel bad for them, and we don't need to feel bad for them. But I do also want to show the player cams, if that is possible. I think that we love to feature some of these college kids that are playing and spending their time not on what is already really difficult, school, but also... playing chess.
We're working on it, Nemo. We're gonna get those cams going.
We're gonna get those cams going. Okay, sounds good.
To be fair against Raja here, I think that even though he's down a pawn, I think his development's a bit better. He's got the bishop pair. Like, there's definitely still a lot. I mean, look at this rook on the H file. Jason just had to play G3 here, blocking that dark square bishop, but potentially making some light square weaknesses.
Yes, we love the light squares when you actually have a light square bishop. I mean, this game is really interesting. This might have been one of those Grandmaster exchange sacrifices that, paid its dividends in like 10 moves, 20 moves. You never know. But for now, the position is still quite equal. It's actually weirdly balanced because of that. White might be up material, but his king is a little weak.
Yeah, actually, I'm wondering how Raja's going to use that light square bishop because Jason's got this pawn on e4, which is kind of blocking out the bishop right now. It's working well with that knight on e3 too. So it'll be interesting to see. We see queen b5, and the pawn on e4 isn't even defended, but it's kind of impossible to attack it unless you play like d5 at some point.
Right, which is why I think white should just make a move like queen c2. He actually makes this move and defends the pawn, as Joe was saying, just making sure that you don't somehow lose this pawn, because that's the way that all the light squares are going to start falling, as if the e4 pawn falls. But I think for now, white is pretty safe. We'll come back to this game in a little bit.
Is there another game you'd like to look at?
Yeah, let's actually pull up an overview of all the games. Once again, these are 5+2 games. So for these 5+2 games, they go by pretty quickly. They do have to play 4 of them, which is why they're 5+2. But let's take a look at Oparin versus... Oh. There we go.
All right,
okay.
So there's their bird's eye view. Looks like Maheen is actually doing really well against Antipov. If you want to look at that one.
Yes, let's take a look at that one.
Was there a Cyprus gift in that?
Let's take a look. Antipov has indeed. We load into this. It's not a Cyprus gift because he didn't take a pawn on h6.
Oh.
He just decided to blunder bishop h6.
Wait,
so I don't want my namesake being used in vain over here.
This is the Antipov gambit.
This is the Antipov gambit. This is not the whoa. Sorry.
But he just took the bait, and now Antipov is crushing.
Has no fear. What?
Oh my goodness. So the Antipov gambit's paying off here.
Right. So for a little context, the reason this move has a double question mark on it is because after rook to f7, you're forced to move your knight, and you don't actually have that many places to move your knight. You can go here, here, here. Yeah, that's about it without actually losing your knight. So if you go knight to d2, this is just really passive, and your position is really bad. With your king in the middle of the board and no attack. So if you play knight to g3, there is g takes h6, but then you get compensation with it with knight to f5, and this is actually better than going knight to d2. But the gambit paid off. Yeah, just f takes e4. You got rook takes g7 over here coming in, king to h8, and now queen takes e4, and there is mate in 1. And
how are you stopping that?
You're not. You're not stopping it. Indeed. Yeah, don't know how you're stopping it.
There's resignation. Yep. That's how you stop it.
Yeah, that's how you stop checkmate. You can stop checkmate by resignation. We love to see that. We really do.
No. Man, Maheen couldn't resist the bait. The knight was free, but cost him dearly.
I mean, I also don't quite understand how he didn't resist the bait. He is playing against the Grandmaster after all. The Grandmaster is not just going to give you free pieces and let you walk away with it. So, it's fine. Maheen hasn't had the best day so far. He's played against 2 Grandmasters. It can only get better from here. But let's take a look at all the other boards. And I actually think Begim's position is looking quite poor once again. She also did not have the best game in round 1. So currently it does feel like she is struggling a little bit. So let's jump into that one.
Yeah, let's check out how Owen's doing, because Owen was doing really well in round 1 but wasn't able to convert. So let's see if he can take advantage of this opportunity again against Begim.
Owen definitely feels like he is doing it. He's got, well, he's up in exchange at this very current moment, which is one of the key factors leading his advantage. He does have to defend against Begin's attack. There is the chance that white is going to play queen to h3, trying to threaten all these queen g2 stuff. And let's just hope that, you know, Owen doesn't take the bait for something this time. But the attack also isn't going to go anywhere because the knight is protecting g2, and you always have the opportunity to exchange off a rook. So as long as white is able to, you know, survive black's attack, I would say, there is a very good chance that Owen's just going to be able to convert this position into a win.
I hope he can. You can call him O-Win.
Did you actually just make that joke?
Sorry, I should leave the puns to Danya, right?
Oh my god, I forgot that Danya makes puns all the time. There was one time when he was way too tired to be doing commentary because he had like got pulled in last minute for other stuff, and there was a segment where he just started going off on puns. Like I made the mistake. Well, I don't want to say mistake. Donnie is very wholesome. I love hearing his puns. I just don't know if I needed to hear 10 of them in a row. You know, like it was fun. It was great. But yeah, there was like, he just kept giving puns. And I was there like, all right, what have I unlocked? I didn't know there was this side to Danya. So I found that out.
So I should tone back the puns is what you're telling me.
No, it's okay. You know what? We'll take the puns. The puns are fun.
I had one and it didn't go so well, I guess. But you know what's really exciting though, Nemo?
Yes.
We got the player cams on.
We have the player cams on. Begim does not look impressed by her position. Her face is like, this position looks a little bit suspicious. But I would say I agree with her facial expressions at this current moment. She is not having the best position. Like I was saying, white just needs to survive this attack. And I think white's actually doing better than that. I think after queen to f...
Oh. Whoa, king g2.
I'm all for bringing the king in to defend and be an active participant in a game of chess. You know,
my goodness.
But perhaps... much like in wars, kings should have probably stayed behind and not gone into the fray. So I was going to suggest a move like queen to f6, which is a lot more aggressive. I am all about these aggressive attacking moves because if black plays king to f8, now you have knight to e5, which offers a defense first and foremost, but it's also just a very powerful move. It's just, you know, you're going to the attack, you're threatening the knight on g5. This move serves multiple purposes. You're threatening to take on c6. King to h2 does not serve as many purposes. Sorry, king to g2 does not serve as many purposes, but it is what Owen has played, and now we are in this position where it is once again a tied position because Begim has just forked Owen's rooks.
Yeah, and we do have some more results just to keep a track of the overall score. Jason actually got another win, taking down Raja. So he's 2-0 right now for this Virginia team.
2-0. Wow. This is the last game that is being played. So at this very current moment, it's not looking too good for Virginia. And perhaps, you know, Jason is performing for sure.
Jason's doing great.
Jason is doing great. Let's go, Jason. Every team needs that one person that carries a little bit, you know?
The board one, yeah.
The board one.
Owen, his game's not over yet, so maybe he can join Jason as some of the scoring. This is the last game of this round, by the way, and we will be going to a break after this. So this game's really important. Let's say he wins and brings Virginia to make the score 3-5. I mean, that is still within realm of reach even though I was saying Virginia's just kind of out of it. So we'll see how this game finishes.
Oh, as you were saying, okay, you know what? This is also fine. Sorry. Go ahead.
What was happening?
The bishop's just trapped. If the rook defends, you've got rook takes with knight to f6.
Oh, what a fork.
Yeah, the tactics here is just pretty crazy. So good move by Owen, which came at the perfect time because now Owen can win this game if he takes this bishop and wins the game. Sorry, that was way oversimplified. Yes, he has taken the bishop. Let's stay up to date with the current position.
Oh man, we're zooming through these moves. All right, so it's a knight versus a pawn. I mean, I don't want to count Big Game out though. There's a lot of time pressure here.
Also, was Owen the one that could not convert being up a piece last time and then accidentally
was there a
lost?
mate? No, it's so close.
It is so close.
Owen fumbled the dub against, I think it was Raja.
Yeah. That must feel bad. Fumbling the dub against a grandmaster. And not just fumble the dub. I believe he actually lost the game.
Check.
Oh no, it's happening again.
Yeah, the computer says it's a draw now. But he's still up a piece.
The reason that this is actually a draw is because after king g6, you want to go knight to c7. This is very intuitive. You're just trying to take this pawn. Not overly complicated. You just want to get that pawn. And now it's actually much
It's not over
harder. Yet. It is not over yet. This is blitz. Anything can happen. You just want to capture your opponent's pawns.
Computer wants king e5 to defend the pawn, and after the check, he needs to bring the king back down.
I think it's most important to just
I think he didn't do that.
Play. Oh no.
Table-based draw.
No.
So
yeah.
Let's see. Can he pick up this last pawn? And even if he can he convert with a knight? I mean, I guess not.
Yeah, this is why Owen had to go for that pawn a few moves earlier without the risk of losing his own pawn. Because you have to have a pawn when you have a rook and a knight. Because a rook and a knight doesn't win against a rook unless it's Title Tuesday and there are 150 moves in which case there's always going to be that one person that is keeping the Title Tuesday lobby a little too slow, and there will be somebody that blunders it eventually. But other than in Title Tuesday, this is not supposed to be.
I'm not going to count Owen out. Knights are tricky. There's always chances for forks.
Yeah, for sure. To Owen's credit, this was a very hard endgame to play for sure for white. Yeah.
He's getting checked. I mean, props to Big Game though. We were saying how her position was looking so bad, but she clawed her way even down a piece.
And really, that's what determines a good chess player. You don't always need to be winning in chess. You just need to be not losing in chess. If you can draw or win every single game, you can only possibly get better, right? That's my logic, at least.
I think he's winning this pawn. Yeah.
Okay, there we go.
So watch out for the forks. She's keeping that rook pretty far away.
She is indeed.
So is this going to be a Title Tuesday scenario where
this is going to be a Title Tuesday scenario? There's no reason for Owen to not play on with these 2-second increments, and this is keeping us from the break as usual in Title Tuesday. This is giving me major flashbacks, but you know, I'm all here for it because once again, Begim is the one that has to prove that she knows how to draw this position, and we actually saw a bishop rook endgame that
yesterday, right?
I think Magnus. So it's never over until it's over. If Magnus can lose a bishop rook endgame, a rook versus bishop rook endgame, Begim can definitely lose a rook versus rook knight endgame.
For sure. And we see he's corralling her king closer to the edge of the board, which is exactly what you need. And after this move, look at that. The king's on the edge.
Yeah. Exactly. There's a lot of opportunities here.
Wait, the knight's pinned. Knight to c6 would have been a fork. Oh my god. But it's pinned. Oh man.
Begim is playing very accurately.
But the time scramble, any blunder could happen.
Yeah. Anything can still happen.
Also,
okay, well, she's trying to make progress. I mean, he's trying to make progress.
Blocking, bringing the king back up is smart. Trying to keep the king away from the edge as much as possible. And just like from a match perspective, there's going to be a break after this game, but Owen's trying to maybe tire out the Mizzou players, right? Like this is also Mizzou's board 4, even though she's very strong. This is potentially Owen's best chance at getting a point for his team.
Right. I mean, 50 moves has to be coming up pretty soon, so...
Also, for from Big Game's perspective, like maybe Owen flags.
Maybe. Maybe. There's always a chance that someone blunders, right?
I mean, I would probably lose this from either position.
All right, great. Congrats. This is why you're not playing and you're the commentator.
Hey, I could be a board 4 player for Virginia.
What's your rating?
Well, it's like I tried to get it back to 2200 yesterday because I lost the game, so I was like 2193. And if I had won my game, I would have been back, but I'm like now.
This was a very lengthy explanation for saying you're 2180, but thank you. We appreciate it.
I know. I'm trying to hold on to that 2200 peak as much as I can.
Okay. Sounds great. Yeah, we are witnessing the classical 50 move draw. I swear it's been about 50 moves right about now, but Begum just needs to press that draw button and it will auto claim a draw for her.
Really? It doesn't automatically do it?
It might automatically do it as well, but as far as I know, you got to press that draw button.
There it is.
There it is, the 50 move draw at 161 moves.
Wow. That might be the longest game we see this season, and it's already just day 1.
Yeah, indeed. Well, we are going to be going to a break really soon, so we will talk a little bit about the round-by-round scores so far. It is 2.5 for Virginia and 5.5 for the University of Missouri, who does have 3 grandmasters and a woman grandmaster. You know, there's still 2 more rounds in this match to go. It is a best of 4. But currently, Virginia has a lot to make up for. How do you think the second half of this is going to go?
It's a great question. I think Mizzou's going to be able to close it out. They only need 3 points to get to that 8.5 point magical number to win. And I think they could very easily do it, maybe even in round 3. So we'll see after this break. Yeah,
for sure. I mean, I think this is going to be very exciting. So I hope everybody in chat is as hyped as we are going to go on break, and we'll be back very soon with rounds 3 and 4. See you guys. And also, don't forget, before I go off, it is September. So save up to 30% on your Twitch subscriptions through to September 30th. We have a few more days of that, chat. If you have that sub button, go use it on the Chess.com channel. It's a lot of fun to be sub. You don't get ads. All right? Thank you guys so much. We appreciate it. Stay subbed. All right, we will be back in a couple of minutes.
Everyone loves playing chess, and everyone loves Chess Club. But there's also a time and a place for playing all your favorite games.
Hey, we're trying to have a lesson here. You need to get out of here.
Recently, more kids have been playing chess than ever in school. But sadly, we've learned that they may not always be playing chess at the most appropriate time.
Eh ben classe, aujourd'hui...
While it might be sometimes okay to grab a game between classes, or if your teacher gives you permission and hasn't given you an assignment, it's not okay to be playing chess in school when you aren't supposed to. And chess should never come between you taking your studies seriously and cooperating with your fellow students and teachers. Chess over the board or on the phone is a great way to spend time with friends. But let's make sure that this school year we don't let too much chess happen in the classroom. Focus on your school, because Chess.com will always be there when class is over.
Chess is cool! Respect your school!
Alright, that was awesome, everybody. Great job.
Look what I did.
Danny, did you spell that?
Yeah.
Can we get some other letters, please?
What's wrong with it?
Your subscription makes shows like this possible, which is why our Twitch subscribers will never see ads on Chess.com. Connect your Chess.com account and Twitch account at go.chess.com/connectaccounts, and bang, boom, voila, you're done. 100% ad-free bliss forevermore. Whether you're following our events on site or on stream, type the command connect in the chat, and thank you for helping bring these shows to life.
All right, and welcome back everyone to the very first day of the 2023 Collegiate Chess League presented by SIG. We are seeing the very first match between Virginia and Missouri. So let's take a quick look at the overall scores before their round 3 starts. Joe, what are your predictions for this upcoming match?
Well, I mean, you already heard me say I think Missouri's going to win this, but I think if we look at the scores, it's really interesting because we have one of the players from Virginia with a perfect score so far, 2 for 2, Jason Moorfield, and he's going to have to take on the top 2 GMs in these next 2 rounds, Antipov and Oparin. So we'll see who loses that perfect streak first. Is it going to be Jason? Is it going to be Antipov or Oparin? We're going to find out real quick.
Indeed, we are going to find out who it is going to be. I mean, we have some super strong players in today. We've been watching Oparin just kill it. You know, these players are definitely no slouch, and they are putting in a lot of work into their chess. We are going to get games momentarily. And honestly, I feel you on your prediction. I think that This is going to be probably in Missouri's favor. I know we're only a few games in, and we're like, you know, we're only halfway through, but so far with 5.5 to 2.5, it's looking like it's going to be a Missouri win. But let's get into the very first game in between Antipov and Jason.
Yeah, their game is underway. So yeah, what do you think? Is someone going to stay 3 for 3, or is it going to be a draw, or what's going to happen here?
Ooh, I don't know. I'm not sure. Honestly, I think there's a very good chance that one person can probably just go 4-4. I think that's very likely.
One of these two?
One of these two will go 4-4. What's your prediction?
I mean, Jason could win this one, but lose to Oparin in the last round. So if I had to guess,
it's true.
I would guess that it's possible both Antipov and Oparin could go 4 for 4. But I'm really excited to see Jason. He's been playing well today, and I'm actually rooting for him. So we'll see. Even though his team might not win, Jason's still going to be trying to get as many points as he can. So he's got the black pieces, though. So he's got his work cut out against Antipov.
For sure. I mean, Jason has been doing really well so far, and I've been, you know, fully in support of his amazing chess play. Love seeing somebody just carry their team, especially as the board won. So, yeah, it's awesome. However, you know, he does have some tough matchups coming up still, and he needs to prove himself against these really strong grandmasters.
Well, he already beat one of the grandmasters, Raja. So
that's true.
Yeah,
2 more to go.
1 down, 2 to go.
Exactly.
For him. I mean, dude, his rating's over 2,800. Like, I don't know how close he is to GM. He's only a FIDE master, so I don't know if he has any IM norms. But he's definitely no stranger to this time control.
Well, we should definitely ask him, right?
Oh, well.
Are you close with him? Do you know him at all?
Like I said, he streams, so I've seen him there. Obviously, I'm coordinating with a lot of these teams. Owen is actually their team captain. And I think a fun fact about Owen is that I could be wrong, but I think he's also the Oregon State champ.
Oregon State champ.
Yeah. So he goes to University of Virginia, but I think he's originally from Oregon.
That's really cool. So he might know Alex and Andrea.
That's very possible.
Yeah, it's a small chess world out there. Everyone knows each other. And if you're from the same province, oh my gosh, I'm in the US. If you're in the same state, you probably know each other.
Yeah, your Canada is showing.
My Canada is showing, yes. My first thought was province. But I mean, right now Jason is definitely trying to set up an attack over here. He's got a half of file here. He's got a knight aimed at G2 as I cannot draw arrows. I apologize for that. Ignore that one. And he's hopefully going to bring his queen out. So we'll see some exciting chess over here from Jason. But let's take a look at the bird's eye view. Let's take a look at all of the 4 boards that have started. There are only 30-second staggers, so most of these games are being played at roughly at the same time. And also in a team format, you also need to remember that sometimes, even if your game is a draw, you might not want to draw it because you want to push for a win. All of these games are 5+2, so they go by quite fast. Quite. 5+2 is still, you know, not the fastest blitz time control, but it is blitz.
Yeah, it's still pretty quick. The 2-second increment does slow it down a little bit, as we saw in that last round. That game lasting 160 moves. But like you said, they're playing for a win. They don't want to necessarily draw. Is there any particular game that you wanted to dive into?
Yeah, let's take a quick look at Grigori's game against Owen. We will pull that up over here. Oh,
I think Owen's king just looks a little suspicious up there. I think Oparin should maybe make swift work of tearing that structure apart.
That would certainly, yeah, I fully agree with you. I'm not sure what happened here with Owen's position.
You want to go back
Looking
and
at
see?
Yes, let's take a few. Let's go back a couple of moves. Oh, my apologies. Some slight technical issues.
So we're looking back at the bird's eye view. Obviously, 4 games happening at the same time. Mizzou only needs 3 points to win. They're at 5.5 right now. If they get 3 points in this round, that's it. Match is over. But obviously, there's still the 4th round, which they are going to compete in regardless of the score. Like I mentioned earlier, the match score is important for the tie breaks later on in the season, which will determine your playoff standings.
Indeed. All right.
Looks like Owen just played f4, and there's discoveries with that bishop all the way back on c8. That sniper bishop there staring off the queen.
Okay. Here we go. I keep seeing these positions, and I'm just like, wow, there's a lot going on each of these boards. Like,
yeah,
everybody is playing something that is, you know, we saw Antipov's bar go all the way up, and now we are also seeing these crazy attacks between Owen and Grigoriy. There's this king on f8. It looks like Raja is also trying to push in the center over there on board 4. But I think we're going to come back and see Grigori's position. He does have a chess set in his background, which I absolutely love. Indeed.
I love his shirt too. You know, it's like first day back to school kind of vibes. First day of the season, right? He's got that shirt on. He's got that chess set, like you mentioned, and the blanket on the couch. Like, that's pretty chess themed, black and white.
Right.
So he's good to go. He's ready.
Both of these players are ready to fight. I think with Oparin offering this queen trade, it is very likely that his 100% win rate streak might get ruined, because once the queens are gone, this position is very much equal. But he is also a grandmaster, and, you know, one of the tricks to becoming a grandmaster is pushing for a win in any position you possibly can. Just take a look at Magnus Carlsen's games. Magnus Carlsen didn't become Magnus Carlsen without insisting on playing for a win in every single position that he could.
Yeah, I think he's pretty comfortable with the queens off. And so that's why Owen went into a little bit of a debate there, right? Like, do I want to go into this endgame against Grigoriy Oparin, of all players, right? And he kind of ended up doing that. So we'll see how. I think Oparin has full intentions of converting this, even if it's a complete draw.
Yes, indeed. I like I was saying, I mean, you don't become a grandmaster without trying to win every single game. You just have to get those points. You just have to get that win. So,
Are you thinking, is knight c5 a move here?
I think knight c5 is a little. I think it's a good move. I just don't think it does that much because even though you're going for this pawn, black can play knight to e6, and then if you play knight takes b7, there's rook to b8, and b2 as well as d4 are slightly hanging. And
that's
black actually plays knight e6 straight away to avoid any chances of knight c5.
Yeah, so this is pretty locked up. It's also opposite color bishops. That's going to make things a little harder as well. But yeah, the pawn structure is basically even, except Oparin has his 2 pawns connected on the king side, whereas Owen's are separated. Is that going to be some sort of slight advantage that Oparin's going to be able to take advantage of?
I'm not sure, really. I think that this position is more or less just going to be equal. So I'm happy to jump over to a different game. Most notably, Jason versus Antipov is going to come up. We'll go to bird's eye view just to see the overall health of all the games. You can see a few eval bars being absolutely tanked there. Won by Raja against Mahin, who is struggling to defend that position. Don't blame him. He appears to actually just be down a whole knight, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah, we want to take a look at that game.
Yeah, let's take a look at Mahin versus Raja. It does not seem like Mahin is having the best time of his life.
Yeah, it's tough. That bishop not doing much over there either. We see the move a4, maybe clearing a3 for the bishop. That was originally a tall pawn back there, but now the bishop on a3.
Yeah, the bishop is going there.
We'll see. But yeah, otherwise, Raja's going to be able to clear this up pretty quickly. And I think that's going to be the major difference maker in this matchup overall, right? We have Jason and Owen. They've been playing well. Mahin maybe having some good, interesting positions, but unable to convert. Like boards 3 and 4 for Virginia is where Missouri's getting most of their points.
Right. Indeed. We are going to see...
Look at Raja with his arms folded, right? He's like, he's just waiting. I mean, Mahin makes a move, and now Raja's like, all right, let me think about this.
Raja looks like he's playing in a common room.
This Mizzou team is it's one of the scholarship teams that's competing, so I wouldn't be surprised. Like, obviously we saw Oparin's playing from home, but maybe one of these matches we'll see them all playing together from like some esports center or something on campus.
That's true. Yeah, they do have some pretty crazy budgets for their chess teams, which we love to see. We love to see chess grow and love to see chess go in schools and colleges. It's a great time.
And
all right, and
Mahin flags there.
Mahin not having the best time today, I would say, but I hope he does have a good round 4. It's not all over for him. But Raja is coming back. All right, so now there is unfortunately one loss already for Team Virginia, which means that the rest of their teammates are going to have to pick it up a little bit. The score difference just keeps getting wider. So let's go and take a look at I'm kind of curious at Begum's game. We haven't yet seen Begum this round, and she has had 2 games where she has struggled a little bit. Oh, and we actually have the win coming in for Antipov, which keeps him on 100% win rate score for today.
And that ruins Jason's perfect streak. So his 2-0 streak comes to an end after that. And Mizzou, they're only 1 win away, and that might come from Begum.
Indeed. We have Begum's game here. Let's take a look at it. She seems like she is also completely winning in this position.
And she's up a lot on the clock.
This is a very nice position for her. She's got the pair of bishops against the knights, and this bishop is aimed right at White's king. Aimed right at White's king. in particular attacking the pawn on g2. Once this knight moves away, it's going to be checkmate. So
we can't move it. We got to defend it somehow.
Yes, but how would you defend it? Okay.
We've seen
I love it.
Before.
Yeah.
Was this the same move from Nick? Is this a Nick thing?
Well, no. I think we saw king to g2 from Owen in the other game.
Okay.
Yes, I'm pretty sure it was Owen. So this is a new one.
D2. Oh, no.
But as you can see, much like the game
There
from
it is.
Owen, it is not a good move because once your king is out, it becomes that much easier to attack. So unfortunately, Nicolas is going to be losing this game against Begim.
And that leaves us with only one game.
One game left. One game left as this round, Missouri has completely swept. Even Jason, who was having such a good match so far, wasn't able to pull in anything. So we only have the game between Owen and Grigoriy.
Yeah.
Let me actually run us through. Oh. It looks much better where I had it paused. I'm just going to say that. The game was looking a lot better there.
Yeah.
Now it looks a little bit...
And it's important to note, Begim's win gets Mizzou to that 8.5 mark. So this is officially a win for Mizzou, but they're going to finish out the rest of the games because, like I mentioned earlier, these extra points are going to count towards their tiebreak later on in the season. And like you mentioned, this is Mizzou's first sweep. So those first two rounds, Virginia's been getting some points on the board, specifically mostly Jason. But now rounds 3 and 4, the matches are going to get closer, as in you have the top words versus the top words, and this is where Mizzou's really going to shine.
Indeed. Thank you very much for that insight, Joe. Unfortunately, the score at the top does not look very good for Virginia. I just want you guys to remember, it is difficult playing against Grandmasters, okay? I dare you to be a college student and also play against Grandmasters the same week. These students at Virginia have probably had a very stressful week. They're not attending a chess school. Missouri offers a chess scholarship, essentially, and they are one of the strongest schools out there. Them and St. Louis both have had very, very strong chess programs, and I think this actually brings us to a special mention to Susan Polgar, who ran the Webster program for multiple years. I believe she is no longer with the program, but she has done a lot of work as well for students and chess players and, the chess ecosystem as a whole. So yeah, big shout out to a lot of these schools for keeping the chess ecosystem alive. Not just for the Americas, but also for all of the countries that send students to these schools. So thank you, Collegiate Chess League, for showcasing all these teams.
Yeah. The top division has 4 of the scholarship schools. Mizzou and SLU are obviously 2 of them, like you mentioned. The other 2 being UT Dallas and UT Rio Grande Valley, who we'll see probably in some future weeks. But like I mentioned, this round robin is tough in the first week because it's the higher seeds versus the lower seeds. So Mizzou, number 2 seed overall, playing against Virginia as the number 7 seed. And the show is going to be soon wrapping up after this last round. The scoreboard's showing that too, right? 9.5 to 2.5, 7-point difference, and probably going to be worse than that after this last round.
Right.
So tough start to the season for Virginia, but the matches are going to get easier as we go throughout the season. They got some other schools to play against. So
I actually see Count Live in the chat right now. Hello, Count Live. The last time I talked to him, he was still the captain and the coach on Mizzou. I hope that has not changed. I hope my information is not incorrect after 3-4 years, perhaps, of not talking to Mr. Count Live. But I hope you're doing well, and huge congratulations to you and your team for having already won this match.
Well, did you know that the World Juniors is happening right now in Mexico?
I do know that, actually. Yes, I am aware.
So you're correct in saying Count Live is still the coach for Mizzou, and he's actually in Mexico with a few of his players who are not playing today. I believe it's Josiah Stearman and Luca. I don't know if I can confidently say his last name right yet, but he might have some other players there as well. So this Mizzou team's doing all sorts of stuff right now. They're playing the CCL right now. They're playing in World Juniors. Count Live is in Mexico with them. So they're doing stuff all around the world.
Oh, that's pretty crazy. I actually had no idea that Mizzou had sent. Oh, yeah, I guess if you're 18 and 19, you can still play in World Juniors. I was trying to do the math, like, how are you in college and playing World Juniors? But that story would check out. I actually saw someone ask in chat, what university do we go to? And I have to admit that I have not been in school for a year of my own choice. And Joe is happily graduated. So, yeah.
Yeah, I think when I first met Nemo, she didn't know that I graduated. She thought I was still in college, but I graduated a long time ago. Well, not that long, but 2018. I've been out for a little bit, but we have round 4 underway. We're looking at Jason versus Oparin. This is the board 1 versus board 1 matchup. This is the top dogs, you know. Jason just had his first loss. I think Oparin's still perfect, 3 for 3, looking for 4 out of 4. Do you think Jason's going to be able to come back, maybe like a draw or even an upset win?
I definitely hope so. You know, just more for his sake. I think Jason is a very strong player from what we have seen today. And I also think that the University of Virginia has really good chances to at least make it to playoffs. So definitely don't want their, you know, hopes and dreams crushed because they played a team full of grandmasters on day 1. So for them, I definitely think that, you know, it would be good for the team if they could snag a couple of wins today.
I think also Jason, regardless of the result of this game, he can, you know, be proud of his play. 2 out of 4 against a team like Mizzou is very impressive, but he's still got a game left. He's got the white pieces, and he's got a little bit of an advantage here. So maybe he can go a positive score against this team, which would be very impressive.
Yeah, for sure. And I actually saw someone ask in chat, are we titled? And I am a woman grandmaster. I mentioned this story a little bit before, but I've known Begim for multiple years. We are the same age, and we used to play all of the world youths together. So I actually do have games against her in classical chess from a long time ago, probably when we were like 12.
How'd you do?
I think I lost, but it's been such a long time. I'm sure the games are in the database. I just don't remember them at all. I just very clearly remember playing against her because I congratulated her on going to Missouri.
Yeah, and to answer the full question, I don't have a title. I am untitled, pretty far from. I'm like almost 1900 USCF, although arguably that could be my floor, but yeah.
What's national master in the US?
2200.
Oh, you're actually
like
quite
I got
far
some
off
ways
of that.
to go. Exactly.
Okay.
I'm not actively working towards that, but that's okay.
That's all right. You don't need a title, right, Jet?
They're overrated, right?
Exactly. I mean, Owen doesn't have a title. Look at him. He's 26.
Owen's national master.
Oh, sorry. I take it back.
But the boards 3 and 4 for Virginia, I don't think are titled. So
okay, that's totally fair. Shall we change a position? I mean, this is as much as I love watching, you know, very slow middle games that are gearing towards an end game in which Jason will probably have a slight advantage going into. Let's take a look at some of the more exciting games. We do have Antipov coming up. Let's take a quick bird's eye view of all of the positions so far. And I really want to showcase Antipov's game because I would like an explanation of why Owen's king and queen are on C1 and B1. I mean, this position just looks a little bit, you know, out of place to me. We can go back a couple of moves and just take a quick look at how they play this opening.
Maybe it was a 960 position.
Yeah, maybe. Except they played a Catalan, so less likely.
Yeah, queen
Okay.
side and queen B1.
That's a very awkward position. I actually love this knight to G5 move. The
Yeah,
idea
fishing
is
pole
that,
tricks.
yeah, I actually learned the name about this, and now if you take the knight, you've got checkmate. If the knight moves, there's checkmate. So that's why knight to G5 works, and it's not just a free knight. So after knight e4, knight to g4, we see knight c5, and that's actually how we land at this position, where apparently Owen just played a double exclamation mark move
Wow.
with bishop to f3. Wow, this is the part where everybody needs to spam the brilliant emote in chat, and if you can't spam it because you're not a sub, it's time to take advantage of the fact that it's still September and get 30% off of your sub. So here...
Or you could also redeem and unlock emote if you're cheap.
Or if you're cheap. Wow. Okay, Joe. All right. I was trying to get people to sub.
All right. Anyways, no. Why is bishop f3 so good? Well, he's blundering knight f2 fork against the two rooks. But if you do that, white can take the knight on f6, and you're threatening checkmate on h7.
Wow. Look at this. Now the queen on b1 suddenly looks like a genius move.
But is Antipov going to fall for that?
No, he's not. he is unfortunately not. But Antipov does actually make a mistake with g6. He does not fall for it, which was a big blunder. Instead, he makes a blunder with g6. A better move instead of g6. Actually, okay, sorry. Not to say that Joe is incorrect, but knight takes f2 is actually the best move in this position, because after bishop takes f6, now you can play g6, because you're still forking the rooks on d1 and h1. So if white plays bishop takes e7, because the bishop is under attack, after queen takes e7, there is now a knight under attack and two rooks under attack. So a knight is worth more than a rook for an exchange, right? Like an exchange, because this would be an exchange. So if they move the knight, now you can just take the rook, and then all of a sudden, it is simply the difference of an exchange.
Well, that's still good for white because you get two knights for one rook.
Yes, but black also has a crazy good attack.
Yeah, so that was the best line for Antipov, but that bishop f3 still deserves that double exclam because it is good for white. Oh my god, is that a sacrifice there?
Is that a sacrifice?
Look at that.
Joe asks. Yes,
the pawn
it is.
f7's overloaded.
So if the pawn takes on f7, there is checkmate in 2.
Oh my goodness, because the knight on f6 is pinned.
Yes, indeed.
It's beautiful.
This does not deserve a double exclamation mark, because unlike Antipov's move, you can actually just choose to ignore the knight, and now there's 3 threats that black has. There is the knight on e6, the knight on g5, and the knight on f2. But I am not a grandmaster, and Antipov is. So...
You are a grandmaster.
Well, women grandmaster are still very, very different. I'm also like 600 points lower rated than him, but that's a different story. But basically, there was the chance for black to simply overload all of white's pieces instead of trading off into this position where he is actually doing very poorly as black. Black's position now is in shambles, quite frankly. The king is very weak. He is down in exchange. His last hopes of attack involve, somehow being able to push c3. But right now, white can actually simply play a takes b3. And after c takes b3, you might think that, oh, white's king is still really weak. But you have this lovely move with rook to d3. And if the queen moves here, you can simply move your king to the side. And if black chooses to take a pawn, no problem. White will simply go for checkmate. And there is not much that black can actually do here. He is in a world of pain, and black doesn't have a lot of checks, if any, at all.
Wow, that was quite the line. We don't see that, though.
We do not see that. Correct. This is also what happens when you go into these really deep analysis. Instead of taking with the pawn, which I think was Antipov's best chance, he takes with the rook, which also provides the opportunity to play c3, but unfortunately after queen c2, you can't play c3 because the rook on b3 falls. So in this case, it is going to be still a game. There's still very much a fight. I mean, Antipov still has ideas with queen to a5, for example. He can go for this check. He can try to take on b2, but white actually doesn't have a lot to fear. And that's actually what I am worried about. I am worried that in these low time controls, Owen might get really nervous. and panic a little bit because it can look scary. But the rook on h1 is totally protected, and you just need to swing your rook up to go attack the black king.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen Owen in good positions before. I think he's still at half a point, so still hasn't been able to convert, but this could be his chance. This is literally his last chance.
Yeah, I mean, Owen has played really well. We've seen some good games from him. Unfortunately, he's just missed at that very final mark. And I'm sure everybody in chat can also relate to that, you know? Sometimes you just can't finish it off. Chess is a hard game.
I believe in him, though. I think this is going to be his dub.
All right.
I mean, look at Antipov's clock. He's getting down to 30 seconds left. He himself doesn't see how he's going to stay alive.
Yeah, and Antipov is running down his clock, but I also am of the opinion that Antipov sees more than Owen does, so he might be overthinking this position, and instead he should just be playing the objective.
Whoa.
Okay, wow,
Whoa.
See, that was exactly what I was going to say. He should just be playing things that look cool. And has a chance for Owen to make a mistake, because Owen did. Owen took that bishop basically instantaneously, without thought. I was like, oh, this is just a free bishop. But instead, and I mean, he has every right to be scared. He actually has rook to d8 in this position. I mean, no one's going to see this in like 30-second time control unless you're Hikaru.
Oh my goodness.
You're just threatening promotion. And there's nothing that black can do if you take.
That's crazy.
There's queen takes c4 with a check, and then you win the rook back. But anyways, Owen did not see that. So instead, he has lost his queen.
The game's not over yet. He still has 2 rooks versus that queen.
Do you like playing with 2 rooks, or do you like playing with the queen more?
So I've played a good game over the board against a stronger player where I sacked the queen for 2 rooks. And I mean, if you could consider that a sack, but I ended up winning that. So I have a good example of a game that I played in that kind of position. So I'm going to go with the 2 rooks here. I think Owen's going to convert this. Based
on a sample size of 1.
Yeah, from my personal, also, you know, just rooting for.
Right, rooting for the underdog.
look at this eval bar. It's going all over the place.
It is going all over the place. It is actually a very good position for white to play. There's never knight takes f7 because it would simply get pinned. So Owen just needs to bring the rook over to the 7th rank, or rook d1 is also great. I mean, there's been so much tactics in this game. It is wild. Like, you are not going to be able to see a lot of these moves when you are playing over the board with a few seconds on your clock. So this can still be really anybody's game. Someone can still blunder a piece, but thankfully they are playing online, so they are able to pre-move. They are able to make those fast clicks.
Oh man, just a quick update on the match. We have all 3 other games finished. This is the last game of the match. Jason got a huge win against Oparin to close that one out. So they both finished 3 out of 4. Raja gets a win against Nicolas, and Bagim gets a win against Maheen. So we'll see if Owen could get a dub here along with Jason for final 4th round finish of 2-2.
Wow, Jason won against Oparin. That is very impressive.
Uh-oh. Queen h2. How are you stopping that? Is this going to be a perpetual?
Oh, actually, this is... Oh, no,
well, he could have brought the other rook in.
He needs to move the other rook in.
He's got another chance.
Oh, he's going to go for the draw, though. He's too scared.
No.
No, Owen. He's probably very happy with the draw. Rightfully so. But there was an opportunity here to finish out the game, actually, with moving the other rook. And now there is also rook to f8. And if the king goes back, you can just take on c6, and there's no checkmate. No checkmate here. But this takes a lot of guts. So
yeah, I can't blame Owen for not going for that, especially with the time scramble.
Yeah, absolutely. Very scary.
But that concludes our match. Final score 12-4 for Mizzou. So they're starting off the season strong. I'm sure their coach is going to be very proud. But yeah, game 1 in the books.
Game 1 in the books. Wow. Impressive stuff, for sure.
So we got some exciting interviews coming up, but just to quickly go over the player performance, we got Jason and Oparin top boards finishing 3 out of 4. great score from Jason. I definitely think Oparin was going to try to push and beat him, but didn't go that way in round 4. Owen going 1 out of 4 with 2 draws, very respectable. Antipov leading the way for Mizzou. They had the most points on the team with 3.5 out of 4. And Raja with 3 out of 4, as well as Begim, a positive score on board 4 with 2.5 out of 4.
Indeed. And we are going to be going into an interview, but what a crazy match 1 that was. I hope everybody had as much fun as we did watching those. I think personally that the games were super exciting, and having this 5+2 format means that everyone was able to, we saw some crazy games. We saw Jason really fight there, and we are also going to be going into match 2 after this interview segment. We will be seeing St. Louis University, another really strong university, face off against Columbia in a little bit.
I'm really excited for that. SLU's got some of the best players in the league. Some of them, I'm sure you've heard of them, including Benjamin Bok, who's a big streamer. Columbia has some really strong players too, so you can't sleep on them.
Yeah, we will be back with an amazing guest right after this break. Stay tuned.
Love playing chess variants? Or just looking for something new? Join us for the Variants Community Series. Every 2 months, we'll be featuring a different variant in a series of events and competitions. Learn a new variant and compete against other players for prize money, or just play for fun. Look for community arenas, streamer arenas, and championship events. 6 weekly arena tournaments held every Thursday will be followed by a championship event with cash prizes, including a $1,000 first place prize. The third and final weekly arenas will be streamer arenas, featuring gifted subs as prizes. Win any of these events to qualify for the championship. The Variants Community Series kicks off on September 7th with King of the Hill, where the first to occupy the center wins the game. But getting checkmated still loses. And join the Variants Club today to learn more about upcoming events, how to participate, and much, much more. See you in the arena on Chess.com.
Interested in becoming a chess streamer like your favorite creators, such as Hikaru, Gotham Chess, and the Botez sisters?
Come on! Look at this! Woo!
The Chess.com community streamer program is growing every day. Whether you're just getting started with streaming or already established and looking to expand your audience, you can now connect your account to Chess.com and have your stream promoted on the game's largest platform. Simply link your account at chess.com/settings/connected accounts, set your category to chess on Twitch, and start streaming. You'll get an ad-free experience on chess.com. You will pop up on our list of live streamers. Your chess.com profile will feature your Twitch stream, and your stream will be linked to your games on our Play server. Type Command Community Streamer in chat and start growing your stream today.
Before match 2 begins, it's time for our career opportunities for chess enthusiasts presented by SIG. So let's welcome in our Chief Strategy Officer here at Chess.com, Grant Lee. Grant, tell us a little bit about what you do here at Chess.com. Hey, how's it going?
Hey.
Sorry, I cut you off right when you were coming in.
All good, all good. Great,
All right.
great to be here.
Are you able to hear me? Awesome. Okay, I'm going to ask you what you do here at Chess.com and what's your... I think there's a delay too. Everybody on stream, nobody freak out. I'm not being fired from this, I promise. I think this is not my problem. This one feels like I don't have a control over. So I'm going to ask Grant to just tell us a little bit about what he does here at Chess.com.
Great.
Oh, it's a huge delay.
So I'm the Chief Strategy Officer here at Chess.com. And what that means is I run a few different programs for the company. So I help lead a few different growth programs. So the one program I lead is business development. I also lead our sponsorships program to basically help elevate the game of chess and bring amazing brands to chess. I also lead a few growth programs. So I lead our clubs growth program to grow the game of chess across chess clubs worldwide. I lead our India program, which is self-explanatory, super fun, growing the game of chess in India. And then last and certainly not least, I lead our colleges growth program to grow chess in colleges and universities around the world.
That's awesome. And fun fact, Grant was actually my manager previously. So he's done a lot for college chess. I've worked with him personally, which is really cool. But now I get to interview Grant for a change, which is awesome. So Grant, what advice would you give young students in college about engaging with chess and leveraging chess early in their career?
First of all, I'm just super jealous and that I'm not in college right now because there's never been a better time to be in chess and to love chess. So the first thing I'd say is stick with it, stick with this amazing game. The second thing I would say is pay attention to the business side of chess. Chess is growing really fast in gaming. Chess is growing really fast as a sport. And Chess.com is doing really well as a company and just creating a lot of jobs, a lot of opportunity. And then the third thing I would say is pay attention to companies that are chess friendly. So there's increasingly a lot of amazing companies out there that see how smart and engaged and brilliant chess players are, and they're actually paying a lot of attention to that. So companies like SIG are really doing amazing things for chess and are actually setting up their culture to be really chess friendly. So stick with it, enjoy the game, and pay attention because there's a lot of opportunities in chess.
Thank you very much, Grant. One last question. Could you share with our viewers your work with the College Ambassador Program as well as Chess.com's internship program?
Absolutely. So this has been one of the most fun things I've worked on in my whole career. So we basically spent the last 2 years growing this really amazing College Ambassador Program. We have over 200 schools participating in the program, totally global program. And it's just an amazing opportunity for people who love the game of chess and want to grow the game of chess through being creative. And it's also an opportunity to learn a lot about business, to basically feel like part of the Chess.com team. And we literally involve you in all sorts of things. And there's obviously really fun merch and rewards and other things that are part of the program too, which is really fun. And it actually connects to internships. So as you were saying, we offer a lot of internships. We've pulled in several interns from this program. So it's kind of an amazing, way to, grow the game of chess, learn how other colleges are growing the game of chess on their campuses, have a ridiculous amount of fun, work with Chess.com employees, learn things, and maybe even, check the company out and come join us for an internship.
Thank you very much, Grant, for all of your insight into the ambassador program, as well as Chess.com's own internship program. It is absolutely awesome to see so much, work being put into people that play chess and the people that play chess putting work back out there. So thank you very much, Grant. And I also want to tease our very next guest. He does work at SIG, who is today's sponsor. So if you are looking for an internship, well, you can apply for Chess.com, you can apply for SIG. There are so many opportunities out there if you are a chess player, and I think that is absolutely amazing. So stick around. We are going to be going on a break after this, but I think I'm personally thinking about going back to school just so I can apply for one of these. What do you think, Joe?
Well, I'm very happily employed at Chess.com, thanks to Grant, honestly. But I mean, like Grant was saying, if there's a college student out there playing chess, now's the perfect time to get into these careers. So we're gonna take a quick break, and then we're gonna have our next interviewer from SIG coming up next.
Welcome back, everyone, and we are going to be bringing on Grigoriy Yang from SIG, who is going to talk to us about using gaming skills in your career. Jerry, it is so nice to meet you. Would you mind telling us a little bit more about your role at SIG?
Yeah, sure thing. Honored to be here to be able to speak with you too. I'm currently a macro research analyst at SIG. And so kind of what I do is I focus on breaking down real-time news and translating that to our quantitative traders for like what that means for them, what kind of pricing signals that might do in terms of financial markets. So that's kind of my focus at SIG.
Awesome. And what is your personal connection to chess? Do you play at all, Jerry?
Yeah, I played a little bit growing up. Amusingly, I'm one of those Queen's Gambiters who watched the Netflix show, and it's like, oh my god, like I have to like revisit this and like start taking it seriously. So I played in my first like real over the board tournament in the Philadelphia Open in June. So slowly but surely.
Chess is all about strategy, you know. How do you use strategy in your day-to-day job?
Yeah. I think whenever I play chess, there is this common trope of like reciprocal thinking, where like they make a move, and I'm like, what are they planning? Why did they play knight a3 or something? And I'm like, this is such a strange move. And that happens all the time in my job day to day, where someone makes a trade, or a price might have changed, and I have to ask the question of like, what are they getting at? Is there an intention behind this bet? Do they know something I don't know? And trying to tease out, hey, what are they thinking, as well as what am I thinking, is something I both use in chess as well as in my day-to-day job.
Thank you so much, Jerry. We really appreciate your answers. And I really hope that this motivates some people here to use their gaming skills in their career, and go apply at sig.com/chess. So thank you so much, Jerry, for sharing your insight. We really appreciate it. And we are actually going to be coming up into match number 2 right after this. So we will say bye to Jerry and jump into match 2, which is St. Louis against Columbia. We saw Missouri sort of, crush Virginia. I don't want to use that word too loosely, but they did have a team full of grandmasters, and it looks like it is going to be no different for this second round match between St. Louis and Columbia. This is going to be pretty crazy as well. Joe, what are your thoughts on this match?
Well, SLU's the number 1 seed. They're probably the favorite to win the entire championship this season, so we'll see how they do. But it all starts off with match 1 here today. They're playing the 8th seed, so potentially the easiest matchup for them. But we cannot underlook the strength of this Columbia team. They've got on board 1 a grandmaster that many of you probably have heard of, Grandmaster Brandon Jacobson. So you cannot sleep on him and his strength. It's going to be so exciting to see how he does against this star-studded St. Louis team.
Indeed. It is going to be an absolutely insane match once again. Don't forget, last time, even though there was a really big, rating gap between some of the players, there were still a lot of really cool games, and I think we had a lot of fun watching them. Wouldn't you say so, chat? How did you guys feel about, all of the games that we already saw? I wanna hear what chat's reactions are. Chat, did you guys enjoy? And also, if you really enjoyed, don't forget, you should be looking at some internship opportunities at SIG.
Looks like round 1 is about to begin here. We've got a game underway with top board from SLU, Nicolas Theodorou up against Wang Zi from Columbia. That's their board 4, so that's going to be a tough matchup. I mean, every matchup is going to be tough for Columbia's board 4. We didn't see any points from Virginia's boards 3 or 4 today, but maybe Columbia's going to be different.
Calling him out, just like that, Joe.
I'm calling everyone out here. I think this is going to be another kind of lopsided match, of course. Like I said, number 1 seed versus number 8 seed. But I'm really, really interested to see how Brandon Jacobson's going to do today as a GM. Like, do you think he's going to go at least 2 out of 4? Do you think he's going to do better than that or worse than that?
Honestly, I think that, I've seen him play a little bit. I think he's going to do quite well for himself. I honestly had no idea that he was going to play in the Collegiate Chess League, but I have probably faced against him a couple of times in the Blitz pool.
How'd you do?
Probably not well. I don't, once again, I play so much chess. I've played so much chess lifetime. It's really hard to remember some of the games that I've played, but in general, I would assume that if they are board 1 for a university like Columbia, I probably did not have much of a chance. But also, it's so cool that he goes to Columbia. A lot of very, very smart people here with the chess and their educations.
Speaking of smart people, I don't know if you knew this, but fun fact, Brandon Jacobson is the younger brother of Aaron Jacobson, who went to Harvard and actually competed in the Collegiate Chess League's first ever season.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so Brandon's kind of following his brother's footsteps here.
Wow. Good for them. I love a chess playing family. Chess playing families are all over. I think one of the more notable ones that you would know would be there's a Dutch family. Their name is just slipping on me right now, but would you have any idea? I feel like chat would know exactly. Yeah, the Van Forests. Indeed, the Van Forests. They have 2 brothers and a sister, and they are both really good.
The Polgars are a pretty famous chess family, and the Botezes and I guess
there
the
you go.
Jacobsons up there, you know.
Indeed, yes. So
right,
I love
so
chess families.
Our first game here, Theodoru versus Wang, and yeah, I mean Wang's got the white pieces. How's he doing here?
Honestly, he is 1874, so I would say he's doing absolutely amazing. I know these are Chess.com Blitz ratings, but I'm just going to point out that Theodoru Nicolas is almost twice White's rating. Almost twice. That is pretty crazy when it comes to, you know, a tournament game of chess. But it is Blitz, so anything can happen, and perhaps White just doesn't play that much online.
Yeah, maybe they're stronger OTB. Not everyone plays Chess.com Blitz all the time, but right. Theodore, 30,084. I mean, that's well over 3,000. I'm sure he's been to 3,100 at some point. This might be the highest rating in the league right now.
Indeed. I mean, 3,084 is a very high rating. And, you know, we have a lot of lower rated people in this league as well, but for the most part, everybody seems to be right around, you know, between 2,000 to 3,000, and somehow Nicolas has even surpassed that. So good for Nicolas. Unfortunately, here opponent's spending a little too much time in position, which probably doesn't require as much thought. It is just a very classic, you know, Scotch 4 knights. So overthinking here is going to only get him in trouble. But it is very equal so far, and the Scotch can be known to go into very drawish endgames. So we'll wish the best to White. And let's take another look at bird's eye view and let's pick a game. I'm thinking, you know, there's some players here that we might have seen before. For myself personally, when I was the team captain of the St. Louis Archbishops, I was familiar with Benjamin and Nicolas, who both played on the PCL team, the Archbishops. And now it's very nice to see them both play on the same team once again in St. Louis. So let's hop over to bird's eye before jumping into Benjamin's game. Here we can see eval bars are still quite even.
Yeah, we've got all 4 games underway. You were mentioning Bach, who is obviously a streamer. Everybody should know Bach by now. And I think we've got his camera ready as well. So if we could dive in and check out how he's doing, that'd be pretty great.
Yeah, absolutely. He's got his green screen behind him.
Chad, do with that what you will. Let's see if we can get some funny. Maybe put the St. Louis Arch in the background. That'd be pretty on theme.
That feels like it's too much on theme. I miss the days when everybody would poke fun at his microwave. He's gotten too self-conscious about his microwave and now just has a green screen.
Well, we could green screen it back in.
Yeah, we can. Maybe this time we can put a fridge or something. Put something a little more interesting.
Just decorate his apartment or his dorm, wherever he is.
Yeah, wherever he might be. You know, the green screen's actually a really smart idea. If he's in a messy dorm room, he can just put it on and, like, you know, just pretend his whole background's clean. You will never know. It's just a green screen.
Maybe he's got some teammates back there.
Yeah, who knows? Really, who knows?
I think SLU has like an esports center that they could be playing it if they wanted to.
Oh, do they?
Probably. I think they do. They have so much like chess stuff in St. Louis. It's crazy. Like they have their own chess club, obviously, but like the campus itself, I'm pretty sure their team has like a chess club room specifically for them.
I have visited. Yeah, they have an entire section dedicated to the chess club. Once again, for those of you who don't know or are perhaps not as familiar with the American chess scene, St. Louis is the hot spot for a lot of chess. It's where the American championships are played. It's where a lot of the top level tournaments are played. It's where the infamous Hans versus Magnus incident happened. So you are probably quite familiar with the city of St. Louis, even if you've never really paid attention to it before. And as such, the University of St. Louis is actually also another school that has sponsorships and does a lot of scholarships for their students. And there is this entire chess ecosystem around St. Louis as we see Benjamin practically win this game after the move a3, I would imagine, after bishop takes. Knight to b3 looking really strong because now the rook does have to move, and white's king is still in the center of the board. So I think white might have just underestimated the strength of black's position.
Ooh, look at that. Is the rook, I mean, there's bishop d3, is there not? I mean, no, there's queen e3 there, right?
There is bishop d3, there's queen to e3 for sure. You do not want to be playing bishop d3.
Yeah, so that queen on b6, kind of the star of the show for Bach. Like, this f-pawn is pushed, and the king cannot castle. So that king is a sitting duck there. Ooh, we do have bishop d3 played. The check
with
immediately.
Queen e3.
So how do you close this out? Just queen takes
You just take the bishop.
Exactly. So that's the piece. So Bach's going to convert this pretty smoothly here. He's off to a great start, his game one. Fun fact, Nemo, I don't know if you knew this, but my dad is actually a graduate from SLU, and I myself am from St. Louis.
Oh, really? I did not know this.
Yeah, so I might be a little biased here. I'm a St. Louis native. I'm a big fan of the Archbishops for sure, so I think that was really cool that you were part of that. And I actually went to the Pro Chess League finals back in 2019.
The Pro Chess League, wow, that's a while ago. I don't think I knew anything about online chess back in 2019. I definitely was one of the people that like started playing online during the pandemic.
Wow.
As Benjamin just snaps up every single piece.
You're one of these Queen's Gambit chess players, huh?
Well, I would say I started from PogChamps 1, I think. Yeah, I'm definitely a PogChamp 1 person. But of course, I mean, I love the Queen's Gambit personally. Not that it would have impacted whether or not I kept playing chess. It's just I started playing online chess during PogChamps 1.
So Bach's gonna pretty much finish this one out. Do you want to take a look at the bird's eye view again?
Yeah, let's take a look at the bird's eye view real quick, so we can select our next game, because I'm actually not entirely sure if white wants to be playing. Like, I always have the opinion that, hey, you should keep playing. Play as many moves as you want. There's no need to ever resign. You never know. Your opponent might stalemate you. But I feel like in this game, particularly for white, it just feels like, you know, it's rough. So as we do see the resignation coming in. All right.
Let's check out Colombia's top board, Brandon Jacobson. We've been talking a lot about him. Let's see how he's doing.
Yeah, let's go to Brandon Jacobson. And Brandon Jacobson is currently playing against SLU's board 4, Talia, who I have also played in tournaments before. I don't think I have played against her ever, but we are also around the same age, and used to play against her in like the Webster Polgar, the Spice Girls Cup, I think it was called. So I've played in the same events as her, and she's come a long way with chess, which is really nice to see.
And look at that view from Brandon's New York apartment there. Is that the typical Columbia view that you get as a student?
I would imagine that he is doing quite well if he's living those skyscrapers. I love New York. I personally would. I would love to go to Columbia. That was one of my top choices for schools when I was applying. So feeling very envious of Brandon Jacobson right now.
Well, it's definitely a better view than what you get in St. Louis. I mean, no shame to Talia's dorm or apartment there, but yeah, this is Columbia's best player. Like I said, he's the younger brother of Aaron Jacobson, so he's got an older brother that played in the league before. Maybe give him some tips, some pointers before going into this.
I feel like Brandon Jacobson doesn't need any pointers. He is a grandmaster, and he's 2,900 on Chess.com. I mean, I feel like he's.
I'm sure it helps to have an older sibling, help you get into the game. But like Talia, though, I gotta say, this SLU team is last season's defending champions. So they are the current champions. They're gonna try to defend their title this year. She's a seasoned veteran. She's played on this team before. She's gotten a championship. Same with Bach and Theodoru.
Yeah.
So Columbia's got their work cut out for them.
For sure. And this looks like it's a fork, but don't forget the rook was also hanging on d8. So it is simply going to be a trade as they go into this endgame. And this is one of those moments where we see two very high-level players go into the endgame. And you might ask yourself, well, isn't this going to be completely a draw? I think it's really important to note here that Black does have a weakness on f5 while he has the pair bishop. So this is going to impact the dynamics of this endgame significantly, because when you're playing an endgame, a lot of the time you're just trying to take advantage of what you have or attack your opponent's weaknesses. So this game is still far from over, although the eval bar says it's completely equal, and soon we're going to have, two minors versus a rook situation.
Yeah, I like Brandon Jacobson's bishop pair, of course. They're both being cut out there. It's a very open position there in the center, so both bishops perfectly placed. You did mention that weak f5 pawn, so that is something in Talia's favor. So we're going to see how they're going to trade off these rooks here. Would you do rook takes or knight takes?
I would play rook takes d1. I think knight takes d1 actually loses. No, it's not that bad, but I'm not a huge fan. I think you have to play bishop d4.
Ooh, and then knight f2
and then I think
is really awkward.
Yeah, I think this gets really complicated. So I think it's fine to just play rook takes d1. But also, before we dive too deep into this endgame, I wanted to let everybody know that this is the last game of the match already. This match has flown by really fast, and we see a win from Nicolas, Benjamin, as well as Batsuren. So currently the St. Louis team is on a 3-0 score, so it's all resting on this game. Is Brandon Jacobson going to be able to win 1 point for his team?
I actually like this move from Brandon. He's attacking the bishop, so he's maintaining that fork with the knight, forcing the bishop to react. And he's going to be picking that exchange back up. But yeah, SLU can't ask for a better start at 3-0. So can Brandon get a point on the board for this team?
When you're playing a team tournament, team game, team match, do you feel the pressure to win or push for a win?
I mean, of course.
Really? Okay. And do you feel bad if your teammates are not doing as well and you're like, oh shoot, I should really try to carry them? Or are you more like, oh, my teammates suck? What is your kind of feeling going into these team matches?
I think if you're Virginia or Columbia, especially in this first week when you're playing against the number 1 seed and the number 2 seed, just looking at that last match, Jason Moorfield is a great example of a player that did really well, 3 out of 4. Maybe your team let you down, but honestly, I don't think that any of these players or teams are going in with the expectation to pull off an upset win here, because that is just kind of crazy.
Setting yourself up for failure.
Yeah, so I think a lot of these players like Jason or Brandon are going in with the thought of, okay, listen, our team, we're all up against the odds. Let's just focus on our own games and try to do our best. And because at the end of the day, that's all you can control.
Yeah, absolutely. Wise words from Joe.
Well,
this is still
played on. I mean,
cool.
you can answer that question yourself too, right? And in your Pan Am's experience, have you been the top board, like in the middle, or what's your experience on team chess play?
I generally have played the top board for well, I've played a lot of different boards across a lot of different team tournaments. I would say in the last Pan Am's, I was board 2, I believe. I think either board 1 or board 2. And we actually won, not the Pan Am's. Back then, I think it was still grassroots, and we were doing like this invitational Ivy League challenge. I think that's what it was called. And I would say it's quite a lot of pressure because as board 1, you're kind of expected to win all your games. So I definitely felt that pressure. I felt that pressure when I was board 1 for Canada back in 2016 at the Olympiad. And I think that probably was by far my most stressful tournament ever. It was the team tournament when I was board 1. Because usually if I lose my own game, I only have myself to blame. But if I lose my game, then I have myself to blame, and also my teammates can blame me, you know? And that makes it feel worse.
Oh my gosh.
Not that they probably actually do, but...
I'm looking at this eval bar. It's been dancing, and both players with less than 5 seconds on the clock.
Ooh, that's actually a miss. Whoa. Okay. Sorry.
I thought it was going to be a draw.
I was going to go back and say that this is actually a mistake because
you
don't
G5.
have to take this bishop. You can just play G6 straight away. But I think Talia might have been sort of just like moving a little too fast, and unfortunately Brandon has promoted, and there is a resignation coming in. But there was the opportunity for a draw on this move with pawn to G6, because if bishop takes, instead of taking this pawn, this promotes on a dark square, you go promote on a light square with a check, and this would actually be a win for white.
Yeah.
But this would be the draw.
That's crazy. That was so close, and then the time scramble, you can't blame Talia for not seeing that. But Brandon gets his team on the board with a point, so it's a 1-3 start. Same thing that we saw in the last round, right? Jason had his team's only point.
Right.
So off to the similar start. I think Slu's going to continue to try to push for even more points. We saw Mizzou win 12-4. Slu probably going to get the win, but by how much, I think is the question, because again, those points matter for tie breaks. So Slu and Mizzou, like let's say they have the same score at the end of the season, we're going to look at these points that they earned to determine who gets the higher seed in that playoff bracket.
Yeah, for sure. I was actually just going to offer you a bet to, if you guess the final score correctly right at this very moment, I will gift you 10 subs.
Whoa, wait, but if I get it wrong, do I have to gift you maybe 1 sub or something?
Okay, fine.
No,
fine.
I feel like that's pretty bad odds for me. I had the exact score. Maybe my score is better than your score.
All right, how about this? We can make a deal. We both have to set a final score for the Slu team, and if whoever gets it right has to give the other 10 subs, but it's only if you get it right. It's not closer or anything.
Okay.
It's only if you get it right. How does that sound?
Yeah. Do we say it at the same? How are we gonna? You want me to go or you first? It was your idea.
I mean, I trust you. So there's 16 total points to be won. They're currently 4-0. I bet that St. Louis. Sorry, 4-1.
3-1.
Oh, 3-1.
Yeah.
Oh, yes, Brandon. Sorry, Brandon beat Dahlia. I don't know why I thought for a moment. It's probably because of the all Grandmaster team. I was like, oh, he's a Grandmaster, therefore he must be on SLU. No Grandmasters allowed to go to other universities. You're only allowed to go to SLU. You're only allowed to go to a chess-playing university. Okay, so in that case, I assume Brandon will be pulling his weight. I think SLU is going to end with 11 points. That's my final guess.
SLU with 11. Okay, I was gonna guess that this is gonna be maybe more lopsided than the Mizzou Slu thing. Yeah.
More lopsided than Missouri versus Virginia.
Yeah, well, maybe it's I just think the Slu team is just absolutely gonna dominate like this entire season. Honestly, they're the defending champs, right? For a reason. Like, top 3 boards, top 3 GMs. Like, obviously the Mizzou team also had the 3 GMs. I think though, Columbia is a stronger team than Virginia. Although Virginia is the higher seed technically.
I love that Joe's running us through his thought
I
process.
know.
I just bet an arbitrary amount of 11 points.
What if I just say 13-3?
You think it's going to be 13-3? You think that? Wow, I am going to call Colombia right now and tell them that my co-commentator thought they were only going to score 3 points total in this entire match.
I mean, it'd be pretty boring if I just agreed with you, right? Like,
that is true, yeah. Now you're making me think, wow, is Slew really that strong? What does chat think?
You're making me think too, because like I noticed they have a FIDE master on board too, right? Aristo Liu. So Virginia's FIDE master had 3 out of 4. So
that's true.
Maybe Colombia is actually. I think my thought process is I'm probably overvaluing the strength of Slew, but
okay,
who knows? We'll find out.
All right. If anybody wants to toss a number into chat, Chess.com will free roll you a sub. Thank you, Chess.com. Don't forget, it's also September, so you guys should go sub. Use your own sub.
Nice call out there. But yeah, we're looking at Theodoro. I think that he's got a good chance of going 4-0. Obviously, he's got to get through Jacobson, but he's only in round 2 here. So he's playing against Kumar Akash, who we got on camera. He's got his watch on, you know? Like they both have their arms up to their face. They're in that same thinking pose. But Theodoro's definitely got the advantage here with the white pieces.
Yeah. I just saw someone in chat say 5, and I'm not sure what 5 means. Like 5 points for Slew?
No,
that
for Colombia.
seems 5 points. Okay, I'm asking specifically for how many points you guys think that Slew will score.
Didn't you say 11 to 5? Yeah, that's a lot of people agreeing with you.
I think that they're only agreeing with me because I said it.
Because you said it first. Oh, we should have asked chat first. We should have.
Yeah, we should have asked chat first.
We'll keep that in mind for next time. Maybe we'll do like some predictions in the chat later.
For sure, and also for my own chat, if anybody wants to toss in what they think that Slew will score, you'll get a sub from me, not from Chess.com. I won't make them pay out on my own personal channel.
Okay, so we see f6 here, and that's the Bin Feingold move. Do you think that's going to burn Akash? I feel like his position's already kind of bad.
I do think that Kumar's position is looking a little bit rough. I mean, this rook is just on the d-file. Attacking this knight. I mean, these knights are on this diagonal right now. They're looking really strong. I mean, I'm just worried for black. He doesn't seem like he has a good move here. If g takes f6, there is bishop to f4. You gotta defend a little bit. And then, really, this is just such a passive position for black.
Yeah, so Theodoro, he's doing his thing. Typical Grandmaster style.
Yes, indeed.
We could look at some of the other games.
Style. Yeah, let's take a look at some of the other games. We've also got a really interesting game in Benjamin's. I think Benjamin's, he's a very experienced player. Somebody earlier was asking, how is Benjamin in college? And the answer is yes, Benjamin's simply in college. I think he's on his master's program right now.
Yes.
I'm actually not sure what he's studying, but you're in college even if you're in master's. I don't know if any of these folks will stay for their PhD, but hypothetically if they do, you might even see Benjamin in the Collegiate Chess League for another 5 years or so.
So, fun fact about the Collegiate Chess League, grad school students count as well. So if you're a PhD, med school, law school, we've got a couple people from dental school, it all counts. And you get a lot of these people. In the first season, UCLA had an MD PhD student playing.
What's that?
MD PhD?
ND PhD? Is that like a
med school?
M. Sorry, M PhD. Okay, I didn't hear that.
Yeah, you might know him actually. He's fairly well known. Dr. Julian Landau. He's a FIDE master.
What type of doctor is he?
So he's doing residency for anesthesiology at Harvard actually right now.
Oh wow, it's pretty crazy.
Yeah, but he was on the UCLA team that they ended up getting third, only behind Slew and Mizzou.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, on that note. I did want to run over to Benjamin Bok, our master students game. So let's take a quick bird's eye view and check on the health of every game happening right now. As you can see, Benjamin's position is looking quite good.
Yeah.
Additionally, we do see Batsurin pushing for that attack, but Benjamin is deep in thought. His opponent has just played e5 and is trying to, I'm not sure really do what, because I don't think opening up the position is very good for him. So he has felt like pushing up this pawn, probably because he has a very passive position. But d takes e5, unfortunately, is going to run into d takes e5. And after, you know, pawn takes e5, for example, there is also going to be bishop to b4, and now this queen is under attack. So I'm just not loving Black's position here. It feels very much, once again, like the other game. Black is just simply too passive. And there's not much you can do about that sometimes when you get in these positions. Like, if you have a rough opening, if you're playing against a grandmaster, people are just always, you know, pushing for their win immediately out of the opening.
Yeah, Bach is just in a different class of his own here against Wang Zi. He's the board 4. I think that that's going to be a very tough day for Colombia's bottom board. They're really going to be depending on Brandon for their points. Unfortunately, I don't even know if Brandon's even doing well in his position.
Yes, indeed. I would say that these games are going to be a little bit one-sided, but that is totally okay. It happens. And, you know, I think it's also a really good learning experience. When do you get to go to Colombia and also practice against top-level grandmasters? I think Benjamin Bok is actually in the top 100 right now. Correct me if I am wrong, but he is doing quite well.
Have you played against him OTB or just online?
I don't think we've ever played in a tournament format. Yeah, I cannot imagine myself to play against him.
That's cool. You've played against Begim and Talia from Mizzou and SLU.
I have not. I don't think I've actually gotten a classical game in against Talia, but we've played at the same tournaments. I mean, like, we've played in a lot of the same tournaments. I've seen a lot of these. I've seen Nicolas growing up. We used to play all the World Youths, but I never played against them. Never had the opportunity to play against them. So it's really nice being able to commentate now. Yeah, I mean, all of Black's pieces are just on the back rank. This is just looking extremely, extremely ugly.
Do you want to look at the bird's eye view again?
Yes, let's take a look at it. Yeah, absolutely. I'm actually starting to doubt my prediction a little bit, because even Brandon isn't doing too well in this position. Is there any game you wanted to jump into?
Let's check it out. Let's look at how he's doing.
All right, let's take a look at Brandon's game.
GM versus GM.
GM versus GM, indeed. One from Mongolia and the other from the United States. It's currently looking like Black's position is also pretty good, although White does have these knights here. There is knight takes e5, and after f takes, there's queen takes e5, which means that, first of all, White is losing a pawn, but secondly, there is the threat of not quite checkmate, but something close to those lines, like along those lines. So I'm not loving White's position here very much. I'm not even sure if there's anything for Black to think about in this position. It feels like knight takes e5 should just be very intuitive. And also, for some reason, Brandon has 18 seconds on his clock. Can anyone explain to me why he has 18 seconds?
I was just going to point that out. Like, even without looking at the position, the clock is just a huge advantage for Batsurin. Almost 2 minutes. Well, he's thinking now. So, but yeah, taking that knight, that was one of White's best pieces, controlling the center of the board. And we're going to see this trade going in favor of Batsurin. So, Brandon Jacobson, like, if he can't get 4 points, like 3 points, where are these 5 points going to come from, Nemo?
You know what? What was your prediction again?
13-3.
13-3. All right, I might owe you 10 subs.
Oh, we'll
after
see.
This stream.
There's still lots of chess left, so don't give up
chess
hope.
left. It's true. And also, I was mentioning to chat, if you guys get it right too, I will free roll you a sub. So feel free to toss in those predictions.
Yeah, we could also still see some comebacks. I mean, Brandon
Right,
Jacobson
you
with
never know.
2.2 seconds on his clock. He's got to live off the increment.
Yeah. I mean, there could be a whole round of draws, and then Brandon can win 2 more games, and that would put it pretty close to 5, right? Or is that still 4?
You know what could happen, Nemo?
Yeah, it could. There's always the opportunity for it to happen. I'm not saying it's the most likely to happen, but there is the opportunity for it to happen.
You know, it's also possible that, let's say, the score after 3 rounds is 1-11. Slew could just leave and forfeit the last 4 games and get you that 5-11 score
You never
that you
know.
need.
Yeah, you never know. Yes, it counts for my chat as well. Everybody in my chat, you guys are also allowed to guess. I will give you a sub if you get it right.
Whoa, but Soren, the eval just went back to even.
For a very, very brief moment over here, the eval was almost at even.
Oh, but he flags.
But he flags, but Brandon flags. Oh, that is so painful.
You see the reaction there on the cameras.
Oh, yeah. I mean, he is just spending way too much time in this position. I mean, I understand he's playing another grandmaster. It's not that easy to play, but you simply can't be spending all of your time in the first 20 moves of the game when you know it's a 5+2 game. You just don't have that much time to work with. I think it's better to fight for, you know, the chance to play a game rather than just lose the game flat out because you lost on time. So very unfortunate here by Brandon. He made a mistake. This position is not great, but it is an endgame, and there's still a chance he can hold a draw if he can potentially capture this pawn. But let's go to bird's eye view to check on the scores. Currently, it's not looking too good for Colombia. What do you think, Joe?
Well, they've lost 3 so far, but they do have this last board. This is their board 2, and the FIDE master Aristo Liu, who's also their team captain. So let's see how he's going to do against Talia.
Right, and against Talia, she is a fighter for sure. This is still very, very, very equal. So, you know, here's my half point.
Yeah, and also I just want to make a quick mention. Like I was saying, Slew's been playing in the CCL. They've got this experience. Brandon Jacobson, this is his first time in the CCL. I mentioned like maybe his brother could give him some tips, and like playing quickly could have been something that maybe now he's flagged. He's going to keep that in mind. The Slew team's been here before. They've played this time control before. So maybe that experience is a big difference in this matchup.
Yeah, absolutely. This is looking like a game where I would lose this as white. It is a completely drawn rook endgame. Black only has 1 extra pawn, but you know, it's blitz. In blitz, anything can happen.
Well, it's basically hyperbullet at this point. Look, they're both under 10 seconds.
Yeah, that's true. It's mostly hyperbole at this point. I mean, but they also do get 2 seconds increment, and 2 seconds increment helps a lot. And as we can see here, Black is pushing for the win. This is pinned. And once you have simplified a few pawns, you might even try to go for this H pawn to get that pass pawn.
So this is definitely a draw. Are we going to see the repetition here? Yep, immediately.
Okay. Yeah, another half point for me. We're going to see the scoreboard, but I have faith that my prediction is going to come true, and you're going to owe me 10 subs. I'm holding you to it.
I mean, I feel like this is still pretty good on pace for my prediction too. So don't get too excited yet.
Yeah, it's all good. Someone in my chat just said 15 wins for St. Louis and it said 14 wins for St. Louis in the Chess.com chat. This guy is angling.
All right, so let's look at the match score after 2 rounds.
After 2 rounds, the match score is not looking too good, in my personal opinion, for Colombia.
I think we're missing a point there for Brandon, so it should be 5.5 to 1.5. Is that right?
There we go.
Or
yes.
No, 6.5 to 1.5. There we go. All right, so yeah, halfway. We're gonna have another little halftime break here. So definitely stay tuned. We're only halfway through. Slew only needs 2 points for the win, but Colombia could have a comeback.
Yeah, and before we actually go on the half halftime show for match 2. Don't forget the Chess.com College Ambassador Program is back. So, hey, if you are a college student, unlike us, who wants to help grow chess on your college campus, you can join the team and get the backing of Chess.com at your school. Benefits include diamond memberships, exclusive Chess.com merch, career opportunities, and even meeting chess celebrities. So for all of the details, you can use Command CAP, Command CAP in chat. And I want everybody to have a good time with their chess, much like how Slew is currently having a good time with their chess. I want to say the same for Colombia, but we will be going on break and coming back, and we're all cheering for Colombia to get a few more points, and it's not just for my bet. Thank you guys so much. We'll be right back.
Everyone loves playing chess, and everyone loves Chess Club. But there's also a time and a place for playing all your favorite games.
Hey, we're trying to have a lesson here. You need to get out of here.
Recently, more kids have been playing chess than ever in school. But sadly, we've learned that they may not always be playing chess at the most appropriate time.
Eh ben classe, aujourd'hui...
While it might be sometimes okay to grab a game between classes, or if your teacher gives you permission and hasn't given you an assignment, it's not okay to be playing chess in school when you aren't supposed to. And chess should never come between you taking your studies seriously and cooperating with your fellow students and teachers. Chess over the board or on the phone is a great way to spend time with friends. But let's make sure that this school year we don't let too much chess happen in the classroom. Focus on your school, because Chess.com will always be there when class is over.
Chess is cool! Respect your school!
All right, that was awesome, everybody. Great job.
Look what I did.
Danny, did you spell that?
Yeah.
Can we get some other letters, please?
What's wrong with it?
Your subscription makes shows like this possible, which is why our Twitch subscribers will never see ads on Chess.com. Connect your Chess.com account and Twitch account at go.chess.com/connectaccounts, and bang, boom, voila, you're done. 100% ad-free bliss forevermore. Whether you're following our events on site or on stream, type the command connect in the chat, and thank you for helping bring these shows to life.
And welcome back, everyone, to the 2023 Collegiate Chess League presented by SIG. I am your host, Woman Grandmaster Nemo, and I am joined here by 200 points away from National Master Joe. So I'm really excited for this match. The rest of this match, I should say. We have a lot riding on the line. We have 10 subs riding on the line. How do you feel?
Well, first off, I'm like 300 points from National Masters.
Oh, sorry. I gave you a little too much credit, apparently.
Yeah, I know. It's very nice of you. But we could look at these player performances after the first 2 rounds. You and I have a little bit of a prediction going, so we're still uncertain how the match is going to end up. But looks like Brandon Jacobson has the only full point for Colombia, and his board 2 FIDE Master Aristo Liu has a draw. Both coming against the bottom board for SLU, Talia, who has only a half point out of 2 games, but the matchups are going to get easier for her in the second half of this match. Meanwhile, the top 3 boards for SLU are perfect so far, 2 out of 2 across the boards.
Indeed. To remind everybody, we do have something very personal on this line. We're cheering for Colombia to score some more points in the second half of this match. Not for any personal reasons, just because we really like underdog teams. Whenever I watch one of these teams play against these chess schools, I'm just like, oh man, imagine being in a chess school. Imagine attending a chess school where you actually get time to work on your chess while at school. That's pretty crazy. Usually when I worked on chess while at school, I was just told that, like, hey, you can't do 2 things at once, but these folks are doing it, so huge congratulations to them. But we are jumping into match 2, round 3 over here, as we see Nicolas start off against Leo Aristo. There's a 30-second stagger for each game, so we're able to catch the start of them. But let's take a quick look at Nicolas's opening so far. He's playing super solid chess. He's still got the same pose. He's still in that thinking pose. But, is this called the hippo? I always get this opening name wrong.
I think this is a hippo. Yeah, it's very similar to like the cow opening. I know Anna has coined. But very interesting opening choice from Theodoro. So this is a hippo opening. We do have an interesting opening choice from Theodoro. But I mean, honestly, the hippo's not that bad. I'm pretty sure Hess plays it. And we also have, like I was saying, the cow opening from Cramling. So there's all these funny openings that you sometimes see, especially from these top grandmasters. My favorite, though, in terms of players in the CCL that play these openings, it's got to be Awonder Liang. And luckily for us, we're going to see some of his games later on in the season. He's playing for the U Chicago team. So we're not seeing them this weekend, maybe next weekend. Today, we're only watching 2 of the matches. There's going to be 4 total this week in Division 1 because there are 8 teams. So we're going to switch up which teams we're watching each week. But Nemo, I think we got you back. So you haven't missed much. Only H6 from Theodoro. So, yeah, you think he's going to play A6 too? Oh, there. Wow. Connect 8? There's no way. He's coming through. So he's sticking to this hippo opening. He's sticking to his guns here. Maybe giving Aristo a little bit of a chance. Oh, and he's trying to open up the center. E5, bishop takes F3 is possible here. But the problem with that is that then white might play taking on F6, which would probably lose a piece. So instead, we might see either this capture or we're going to see this knight move somewhere. But yeah, going to be seeing how Liu can maybe take advantage of this and get some more points back on for Colombia, which would be a really good opportunity for them to try to get back into this game. We could also take a look at the bird's eye view, because there are 4 games happening all at once. And we see a lot of the games are still pretty even. This is the start of the 3rd round, so players still have plenty of time. Obviously, the top GMs for SLU all have 2 points out of 2, so they're going to continue to try to get those wins coming in. Talia, meanwhile, she hasn't gotten her first win yet. She's got the white pieces here, though, so this could be her best opportunity. She's playing against Akash Kumar, who is the weakest player she's focused on so far, because the first 2 rounds, she played against both titled players, Grandmaster Brandon Jacobson, of course, getting a win, and FIDE Master Aristo Leo on board 2 from Colombia, who got a draw. So Talia has a good chance here, now that she's playing a non-titled player, to get a full point on the board and try to bring Colombia back, try to get back in the win column for SLU. But yeah, we're gonna wait for these games to pick up. Still pretty early on in the round. I think Bach's doing well. He's got the black pieces. Still, he's got the most interesting matchup though. He's playing against Brandon Jacobson. So that's GM versus GM. I'm gonna be really interested to see how that game is going. Maybe we could take a look into their game. Seems that Brandon's got these 2 rooks on the A and B file. They're like diagonally separated, but maybe he's going to double on the B file, or maybe he's going to push for A4, which opens up the B file. I don't know if it works out just quite yet. Pretty strong position, though, in the center for white. I like that white has the bishop. So Brandon had an unfortunate loss by flagging in that previous round. We'll see if he can bounce back here, and this would be a really good win for Colombia against Bach. So Bach, I think, is streaming right now. Maybe that's going to slow him down a little bit. I don't know. He's pretty used to it, though, so I wouldn't count on that being a hindrance.
Well,
but
hey, Joe.
Yeah, welcome back. We missed you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I appreciate you taking over for a bit. Apparently, we were having mic issues, and a lot of the jokes that I made, I was muted, so I'm very annoyed about that, but that's okay. We're back now. Did I miss anything important?
Do you think we muted you for your jokes on purpose? Or
Yes.
I mean,
absolutely.
You want to tell us what those jokes are that we missed?
No,
Any
don't worry
puns?
about it. No, don't worry about it. Honestly, it's totally fine. Not bothered at all.
Strategic muting.
Yes.
Good job, production team.
Thank you, production. Huge shout out to production for muting me. They were too bad. It was like those Danya levels of puns. Actually, Danya's puns are pretty okay. My jokes were worse.
Pretty okay.
Yeah.
I think Danya's pretty good, actually. I think you're not giving him that much credit.
At puns?
Yeah, puns and his puns are pretty good,
you know
too.
what? Maybe I just have a personal thing against puns. You know what? Maybe it's a me issue. It's fine. It's okay. Anyways, I am back. Thank you very much for covering. I think that this is going to be one of those. I heard you were talking about how the Colombia lineup kind of like speaks for itself and stuff. So it is going to be a little bit tough for me to get. My personal hope is that Colombia scores 3.5 more points. Do you think they can do that?
I think that Colombia is going to end with 3 points. Like I said, I'm going to stick to my prediction, 3-13. So they're going to get 1.5 more points in these last 2 rounds.
Okay. So you think I'm going to miss on my prediction?
I think so. They're perfectly on pace for my prediction.
Yes.
Does that make you nervous at all?
Yes, it does. Let's go to the bird's eye view, because currently I want to mention all of the positions are dead equal. Which means, hypothetically, if we get 4 draws, that would be 2 points in my favor. And then there's still 1 more match to go. Of course,
I hate to break it to you.
Yeah.
We're not going to get 4 draws.
Okay, what game do you want to see? Which game do you think has the most chance of not ending up in a draw?
Maybe Talia's game, if I had to answer your question.
Okay, let's take a look at
feel
Talia's game. Here, you know. Yeah, Talia's game. I mean, You really think this won't end in a draw?
I don't think so. I think Talia is probably gonna convert this. Probably this isn't the most lopsided matchup though. Colombia's board 4 probably is gonna lose if I had to guess. But Talia, she hasn't won yet, so that's why I'm really rooting for her. I think she's gonna get a dub in this round.
Okay, so you're rooting for Talia. I am not rooting for Talia, mostly because of my personal reasons. But I like that. It creates a balance, you know, on broadcast. We can't always be rooting for the same team.
I already told you, I'm biased for this SLU team. I'm from St. Louis. This is my home team. Right? Oh, Talia messed up, though.
That's true. Talia did mess up a little bit. Bishop to f5 is not
What's
the best
the
move because of bishop takes e2, rook takes e2, and then wait. Look at this fork.
Oh my goodness.
Look at this fork, Joe. Look at this fork,
It's a triple
chat.
fork.
It's a triple fork. And if you play pawn takes d4, you have queen takes e2. Because this was a pin. And these are the kinds of these are the types of tactics that you will find if you do your daily Chess.com puzzles. Right, chat?
Well, when you asked which game is most likely not to end in a draw, you know, even if she loses, I'm still right.
Wait. What do you mean?
You asked which game's most likely not going to end in a draw.
Oh, that's true. This game is still not going to end up in a draw because now Kumar is going to win. So, well, you know what? I'm actually saying that a little bit early. Obviously, he is now up the exchange because there was nothing that Talia could do in that position. So here, Black does still need to prove themselves by converting this into a win, which might not be that easy because White actually has the pair of bishops. But, you know, at this very current moment, Black is indeed winning.
Just like that, the advantage slips because queen h5 and the queen's trying to get to g6. How do you stop mate?
Well, the answer to that is you simply don't, and I think you play something like rook to d8 because if you do actually go queen to g8,
the king can run.
Yeah, the king can just run, and then if you play queen to h7, you have to make a careful note to not play king f7 because of bishop g6, where this rook will hang after, and instead play king to f8. Where now there's just queen here and the king comes back up and then threatening this, so you move your king back.
That's really interesting.
Yeah, so there is actually no fear of checkmate here to Black. However, I am a little worried that Black is going to overreact. That's my biggest fear for a lot of these situations. And as I was saying that, I think Black might have taken that threat a little too seriously and has now played bishop e5. He is at least cognizant of the fact that he can play king g8 to get away from this checkmate threat. But unfortunately for him, there is now f4. And the reason that f4 is different or makes the position different because it's now after queen h7, king f8, there is e4. And now this bishop is really bad. Chess is all about these little tempi things. You know, like you make one bad move, all of a sudden your position is going to collapse because of that one bad move.
It's just an avalanche from there. So we'll see if she plays f4 though. Meanwhile, I did want to bring to attention that Theodoro has won his game. He's 3. No, right now he just took down Aristo Liu on board 2 for Colombia. I don't know if you want to stick to this game or look at the bird's eye view. We could see how the other games are doing.
Let's take a quick look at the bird's eye view, although we can come back to Thalia's position later because she does have an aggressive attack. However, I do believe that Batsurin has also gotten himself into a winning position, and Brandon is still fighting for an equal position against Benjamin. So shall we take a quick look at Batsurin's game? His game seems like it might be ending quite soon. It would be nice to catch the very end of this.
Yeah, we'll definitely take a look. I think they're very low on the clock, and I think this game's about to wrap up any second.
Especially considering Batsurin has an extra knight on d4. I'd be very surprised if Wang does not resign at some point around here. Not a comfortable position to play at all. This is not one of those positions where you have counterplay for your piece and after this queen trade while threatening queen to h7, and he doesn't see it. Oh my gosh, I am so good at jinxing people. I need to stop.
That was such a good move from the GM. He left his rook on c6 hanging because of that mate threat. So Wang saw that I guess he couldn't take queens,
but that doesn't make sense. Wait. So
he
what?
didn't take the rook.
But he also didn't take the rook.
He was running out of time. It was just, what are you gonna do, really?
For sure.
Right? You should have traded queens, but alas, it was not to be. So, and yeah, Talia just won her game actually. So nice comeback. That's a pretty checkmate from her, by the way.
Yes, indeed.
But we do have one last game going on. This is the GM versus GM. This is Bach versus Brandon. This is going to be a big one for our point prediction.
Indeed. Mr. Benjamin Bok, who is in fact in college, much to everybody's surprise. How much of college he does, we will only find out later if we get a chance to potentially interview him. But he is, hypothetically, at this current moment in college.
Yeah, and that's actually an interesting point, Nemo. We do have exciting interviews coming up after this match. So definitely stick around. You guys might think that the match is over because SLU did get to that 8.5 point mark. They're at 9.5 to 1.5 right now. But there's still another round after this, and we're going to have player interviews. So definitely stay tuned for that.
We are going to have player interviews, and I think this is also going to head into a draw. There's not much opportunity for either side to push for a win here. Benjamin's only chance of creating a pass pawn is on the queen side, but his pawns on the king side are far too weak for him to really dedicate all his energy and time on one side of the board.
We did see Brandon flag, though, that last round. So maybe he's learned his lesson. I don't know. What do you think? Is he's gonna hold it, or he's gonna lose?
So I think Brandon has learned his lesson. I think he has learned his lesson. I think it's pretty, I don't know, it just feels bad to flag in a blitz game because you're playing a faster time control. You're supposed to be able to play the game fast.
Oh my God, his clock just hit. It was like he got to 2.7.
Wait, I thought Brandon is like a bullet player. I see him playing bullet all the time on Chess.com.
Oh my God.
He's playing this like
look at this black king. The king is getting in.
It is getting in, and now it's going to be not
He's
that
gonna
clear.
lose.
Oh gosh, not like this, Brandon.
They're trading the pawns, but look at those black pawns on the queen side. They're so close to promoting.
Oh no.
There's no stopping.
There is no stopping this.
Rook b3.
Cutting off the rook. Oh, this actually, sorry. Rook to b3 was actually not the best move here because you can just simply play h7.
Oh my gosh.
And then promote with a check, which is still a draw because you just have to go for perpetual after. But I don't think Brandon...
That's so hard to find. They both get queens, but still that a-pawn's on the board.
That a-pawn is on the board. Whoever has a higher advanced pass pawn in the endgame, in a queen endgame, usually wins. So this is going to be potentially, you know, not the best end for Brandon. He definitely had a chance to draw there, but he missed it.
He's going to need a perpetual, but the queen can block.
Yes, no perpetuals around here, unfortunately. He just resigns.
Wow.
Wow. Benjamin really swindling these games, huh?
Was that a 4-0 sweep? It was.
It was a 4-0 sweep from the St. Louis team. I think your
let's take a look at these scores.
Yeah, I think your prediction is looking likely.
Well, your Columbia team needs to get 3.5 points in this last round, so it's still possible.
Yeah, it's still possible. We can still do it. Yeah, right, chat?
Yeah, so total right now, 10.5 to 1.5 for SLU. They're dominating, up by 9. So they've won the match, but they're still going to try to get as many points here in this fourth and final round. And definitely stick around to see how this is going to finish because we want to know who's going to win this bet. But we'll also have a player interview afterwards. So still plenty of content here remaining in this match. What do you think? Is it going to be 1.5 or are we both going to be wrong?
I think we're both going to be wrong. You predicted, what was it, 13? 14?
13 to 3.
13 to 3. Okay, so the way that our bet works is that it's not closest to. It's only if you get it exactly right. So you would need SLU to score 2.5. But I think they're 1.5. No, 1.5.
It's possible. We need 1 win and 1 draw.
Wait,
no, I said 13 to 3.
Yeah, but currently...
So Brandon's going to get a win against Theodoro, and Arista is going to get a draw against Bach. And then you're going to have to owe me 10 subs.
Okay, we'll see. We'll see how it is after this. I'm not paying it up yet. I still have faith. I still have faith in Colombia.
Well, they go.
They won't end like this, but we are going to jump into round 4 actually right now. This is the last round for today. As you might know, SLU might have already won this one, but we do have a very interesting matchup on board 1 between Theodoro and Brandon, as Theodoro once again goes for his fianchetto, double fianchetto setup. You know what? I might start playing this, Joe. What do you think? What do you think of Theodoro's double fianchetto setups?
So I typically like to play the bishops towards the center and not fianchetto unless I have to. But
wait, what's wrong? Wait, isn't fianchettoing also moving your bishops to the center though?
Well, that's more controlling the center from the side, whereas I like to put the bishops on C4 and F4 typically.
I see.
Right?
Okay, understood.
Yeah. But I'm also the worst player in the room, so
that's not true. You are higher rated than Z Wang.
Maybe not OTV, we don't know.
Yeah, that's true. Okay, you might actually be the lowest rated person in the room. Okay, well, that's fine. I'm not much higher, so it's all good. It's all fine.
Yeah, I think this opening worked for Theodoro in that last round, but this is definitely a much stronger opponent here. I think Brandon's going to get the dub.
Yes. I think Brandon... Well, I don't know. I mean, this is one of those positions where it's just going to be so slow for so long, so I am going to ask... we go back to the bird's eye view to look at some other games, because I know they're just going to be here for a while. I'm mostly just worried about Brandon's time usage. Brandon has been spending so much time every single game, and he's been running into insane trouble. So I'm just hoping the best for him in terms of time usage.
Yeah, that has been his kryptonite today. He started off strong in the first round, but that was against the board 4. And since then, he's been putting up zeros. So this is why I think he's going to bounce back in this last round. He's lost the last 2, but he's motivated to end on a good note.
Let's certainly hope so. All right, we're going to jump into this game by Benjamin against Aristo. Do you think that since the SLU players have already won the match by landslide, they are taking it a little bit easier potentially this round?
Absolutely not.
Absolutely not.
I disagree with that.
All right, well, when we pull up Aristo versus Benjamin on the big screen here for you guys,
the reason why I say that is because I mentioned it earlier. I think it's because these teams know that the match point and these board points are crucial for the tiebreakers. Mm-hmm. So they're going to try to get as much as they can. In fact, SLU, they're trying to sweep every single round against these kind of teams, right? Because for them, this is the 8th seed. So this is the best chance for them to get as many points on the board as possible.
Mm-hmm. I hear you on that. Getting as many points as possible is definitely a valid reason to keep pushing, but also, I personally think that when it comes to round 4s and your team is completely sweeping, we're seeing some less maybe forceful openings is how I want to call it. You might not be playing the top of your prep. I think they're playing, second tier prep or third tier prep, or just playing their comfortable opening. Everybody has that one opening, whether it's the London or the Hippo, or for me, the Spanish. The opening you play when you don't really need to think about anything else and you don't have to worry. And I feel like that's the openings we're seeing right now, because all of these are just going to very equal endgames. Which, to be fair, favors the Grandmasters because they're more familiar with how to play them. But that's my sort of overview on their opening choices.
Yeah, it might not be their best prep, but I think that also makes sense. I think that in a lot of these games, maybe they don't need their best prep, and maybe they haven't even started this match with their best prep. So we're definitely going to see SLU in the playoffs. Like I said, they're one of the favorites. They are the defending champions. So if you want to see their best prep, you're going to definitely see it when it gets time to that. So but we have a long way to go until we get to that point. But I think Bach's already doing great, regardless of the opening. Look at this queen on d5. What a beautiful place to have the queen.
Indeed. The rook's going to come over. This is not a free pawn. If rook takes b2, well, I mean, it is a free pawn, but there's going to be plenty of counterplay against this knight on d7. So queen to a5 would be followed for black, because this is the only move to not lose the knight, really. And I don't know, white just gets so much compensation in this position. The e pawn might fall, the knight's going to move over to attack the c pawn. It's just all types of complicated if black decides to take the pawn on b2.
Yeah, I did see the doubling on the d file. I missed this queen a5 idea, which is the only move in that position, right? So that is kind of complicated. I think Liu's trying to look for it, and it's costing him time. So he's already under half of his clock. This is just such an easier position for Bach to play. He's very comfortable, and you could tell by the clock advantage.
For sure. Also, Bach is streaming, and it feels like he is in his element. Rook takes b2 has actually been played, but Bach follows up with knight a4 instead of rook to d1. And now he is just going to go for the c5 pawn. And we see here that after knight takes c5, knight to b6, Bach is back to equal material. Actually, in fact, he's up a pawn. And I think queen to e5 is probably his best move here. He actually does not want to swap off queens at this current moment.
He's up a pawn, but it's hard to defend c4. So there's queen check, and you got to move the king. Definitely watch out for f6.
Right.
If you want to show, there's that giant family fork, knight e6.
Don't fall for this.
Yeah. But obviously, Liu's a strong player, FIDE master. He's not going to blunder that. So
we would hope.
King g8, most obvious move.
Has been played on the board.
So yeah, how do you follow this up? You're not defending c4, are you?
No, I think the follow-up will be either rook to d1. Oh, I was going to play rook a to d1, but rook f to d1 has been played on the board. So this also works very well. And after, queen to c8, potentially, there's always just knight to b3, and then this pawn's also hanging. I think it's just very hard here for black to defend against all the threats. You don't really want to play something like queen to 8. This just feels so passive and a recipe for disaster. Additionally, you could play rook c1 here. Just defend, because if rook takes, then you have rook takes and knight takes. And then you can just go queen to c7. And everything is just so cramped for black, and you just don't want to be in these positions as black.
Yeah. Queen e8 basically smothering that rook. And if black ever grabs on c4, you're going to follow up with knight c7, winning the exchange. So good analysis. I think Bach's going to be able to win this, especially as... and that might just be a big mistake there. Let's see.
Queen to e4. Queen to a8. We take on e7. It's another pawn. Well, it's a trade of pawns, but it's really good.
What about queen c3 instead of e4?
Instead of e4.
Yeah, queen c3 here. What's wrong with this?
We've got queen to a5, defending the rook.
Defending everything.
Yeah, and actually, if you play something like a3, there's rook to b5, which attacks the knight as well. So this is not a free knight.
Yeah, this is why you're finding the moves and not me.
You're not giving yourself enough credit. These are some really good questions, because I bet the chat also has no idea why you can't play them. They're just like nodding along. So ask all the questions, and also chat if you guys have any questions. Feel free to ask.
I just see okay, queen to c3 fork,
Yeah.
But okay. Queen e4, is that on the board? That's your move.
Queen to e4 is on the board.
You're playing like a grandmaster.
I'm only trying. That's my job as the commentator, is to give them the best moves I can possibly find in this position. I think in this case, it's just, principle. We're trying to keep our aggression on this pawn. The queen is still under attack. It's, a very, very solid position for Bach. It's actually probably, looking at the position, you might think the eval bar is really high, but Bach is just simply up a pawn. He just has a good position. There's no crazy discover attacks here. The rook in b4 is not even protected. So.
Yeah. But I think the time difference is a major component, regardless of the position.
I
But we
agree.
do have a result. But Surin has just finished, I think, 4-0 for him. So
Yeah. Let's go
we
to
could take
bird's
a
eye
look.
view and then have a quick look at some of the other games. Joe, pick a game, any game.
I think we got to take a look at Brandon Jacobson's game.
All right, going over to Brandon Jacobson's game.
I'm still hopeful for this 1.5. There's 3 games remaining. I need Colombia to get to 1.5 to get those 10 subs. I think maybe Brandon and Wang Zi could be the 2.
All right. Well, this position is still quite equal. You know, White is going to be the one pushing for the win because Nicolas is up the exchange. However, it's not easy. It's not easy. And I think this is probably Brandon's best opportunity to go for a win. He hasn't had the best event so far. To be fair, it is the first day and he's played against the most challenging team, so he's had his work cut out for him. But I would really like to see a Brandon, you know, success, because that puts you in a better mood for the rest of the season. I always felt really bad when I started off a tournament with a loss. What about you?
Obviously, like playing tournaments, you want to start strong. Because like when you're in a tournament like this, you see the full season schedule, you see how many games you have, and starting off on the wrong foot is just really demoralizing when you know how many more games you have coming up. So maybe though it's a good thing to get Slew out of the way first, right? Because it's all uphill from there.
Right, you can't possibly have a 10.5 to 1.5 score after 3 rounds, right? That can't happen again. Actually, Nicolas is completely winning, so as we were talking about that, I'm mentioning how hard of a matchup this is. Brandon Jacobson might have made a big mistake with playing rook to c4, completely disregarding the White's idea, which is to go for the d5 pawn. And it's much worse than that because he has now moved his rook up, so he doesn't have a lot of opportunities to just move away the king.
There's resignation.
Yeah, resignation.
Well,
comes in.
Can we quickly look at Talia's game? Because even though Brandon lost, there's still some chance for Colombia to get a point. I think Wang is actually completely crushing.
Yeah, for sure. There is still a chance for Colombia to draw this position.
The bird's eye view shows that eval's through the roof.
Yeah. I mean, we're coming onto the game right now. We're going to get player cams and everything for the first time in Collegiate Chess League history. We are having player cams, which is really cool.
Well, for the regular season, we've had player cams in the past for the finals. One time we had it on Chess.com. Actually, that was the very first season, Mizzou versus Slew finals, which is hilarious because that might be the same finals that we have this season.
You're already predicting the Missouri versus Slew finals?
It depends on the bracket because maybe they meet in like semifinals and then we get like a Missouri versus Texas kind of finals. But Chicago and Yale can't be slept on. Chicago's actually won the league in the 3rd season. So
oh, wow. This goes way back. Has it always been 5-2?
It has always been 5-2. We did have one individual format season last fall, so a year ago, but that was rapid time control. We've only done that one individual season once. So besides that, it's always been the 4 versus 4, 5+2 format.
Someone in chat just saying Talia not having a good day, but she's actually come back from the position and is now holding it onto a draw. So Wang was up a little bit of material, but unfortunately completely disregarded what Talia's pawn pushes were supposed to be for and just let her promote. So now he is only up the exchange in this endgame, which is more or less theoretically a draw, but as we have learned from today, from these 2 matches, nothing is ever that simple. As he makes a big blunder and actually heads into a loss because after rook c6, there is
Rook
rook.
E2? I'll play rook E2.
Rook BCA is pretty good. Rook E2 is also looks really powerful, right? We're just going for the second rank.
That was my idea, but
yeah,
computer doesn't like it.
Computer loves Rook B to D8, actually.
Yeah, well, looks like none of us are computers. Talia might flag. She's got no time.
What?
Oh my goodness. I was at half point. If any of the other boards had a draw, I would have had that prediction on lock. But
oh my gosh.
Looks like Bach gets a dub and Talia loses that last game. So Wang Zi, board 4 with a huge upset win. Not enough though. Unfortunately, I missed the prediction by a half a point, Nemo. You're
by
so lucky.
half a point. I am so lucky. For those of you who might have forgotten, Joe and I had bet earlier this match what the final score would be. And Joe has just lost by 0.5 because of Talia's time troubles. So, you know, yeah, this is why you guys should make some predictions and have some fun. But it does bring us to our round-by-round scores. We see St. Louis University with 13.5 against Columbia's 2.5. Not the best day for Columbia, but it can only go up from here. What are your thoughts, Joe, on the match?
I completely agree. This is the toughest matchup for Columbia all season. SLU's obviously the #1 seed. They're the highest ranked team. So not the best start that Columbia wants, but they at least get this tough matchup out of the way and can look up from here.
Yeah, indeed. We are going to be going on break. We'll be back in a couple of minutes with a very special guest, Benjamin Bok.
Yeah, we're going to do a player interview, but first we can look at these player performances of the match and see how they all did in these last 4 rounds. Look at all their scores. So we had Theodoro and Bach, I believe, all had a 4-0. I actually did Batsurin also go 4-0. It was just Talia had 1.5. I think that was the only points that Columbia got was against Talia. Is that right?
I believe so, yes. You guys are going to be able to see each of their individual scores on the round-by-round scores.
We're going to actually take it to break, so we're going to be right back with Benjamin Bok on his interview. So stick around for that.
Love playing chess variants? Or just looking for something new? Join us for the Variants Community Series. Every 2 months, we'll be featuring a different variant in a series of events and competitions. Learn a new variant and compete against other players for prize money, or just play for fun. Look for community arenas, streamer arenas, and championship events. 6 weekly arena tournaments held every Thursday will be followed by a championship event with cash prizes, including a $1,000 first place prize. The third and final weekly arenas will be streamer arenas, featuring gifted subs as prizes. Win any of these events to qualify for the championship. The Variants Community Series kicks off on September 7th with King of the Hill, where the first to occupy the center wins the game. But getting checkmated still loses. And join the Variants Club today to learn more about upcoming events, how to participate, and much, much more. See you in the arena on Chess.com.
Interested in becoming a chess streamer like your favorite creators, such as Hikaru, Gotham Chess, and the Botez sisters?
Come on! Look at this! Woo!
The Chess.com community streamer program is growing every day. Whether you're just getting started with streaming or already established and looking to expand your audience, you can now connect your account to Chess.com and have your stream promoted on the game's largest platform. Simply link your account at chess.com/settings/connected accounts, set your category to chess on Twitch, and start streaming. You'll get an ad-free experience on Chess.com. You will pop up on our list of live streamers. Your Chess.com profile will feature your Twitch stream, and your stream will be linked to your games on our Play server. Type Command Community Streamer in chat and start growing your stream today.
Hey Benjamin, it's so nice to have you back in the Collegiate Chess League, and a huge congratulations on all of your wins today. What are your feelings about today, and also how far are you expecting to go this season?
Hello Nima, hello Joe, good to join you guys, good to see you guys. Yeah, no, pretty happy with today's win, especially, happy to go 4-4. Also, it was the first time for Dambasur to play in the Collegiate Chess League, so happy that he also scored 100%. And to answer your second question, I mean, our only goal this season is to win, obviously. I mean, we won in the spring, so we want to repeat that success.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. You guys are the defending champions. You guys also won the first season of the CCL, and the CCL's come a long way. This is obviously the first time we broadcast on the regular season, and I wanted to ask you, how much have you seen college chess grow in your career?
Yeah, no, I've seen it grow a lot. So I went to SLU in 2018, and back then there were only the Pan Ams and the Final Four. But since I joined also in 2019, they introduced the Collegiate Rapid and Blitz events. They introduced the Collegiate Chess League online. So yeah, it has definitely grown a lot. So that's pretty exciting. I mean, especially for the title players who are on scholarships, but also for players who are playing more casually. They can, get a team together and go to these events. So it's great to see how it's grown over the years.
It's been really amazing seeing college chess grow, and I actually really wanted to ask you, how much has your GPA dropped in order to get this good at chess?
Well, I don't know. Well, it's a funny question. I mean, I wouldn't say my GPA has dropped a lot, I mean, my rating hasn't necessarily increased when I joined SLU, so there's no correlation between my GPA and my chess, so to speak. So I was already pretty good when I got to college. So yeah.
Thank you very much.
Funny,
I really was trying to. I know. But yeah, thank you so much to Benjamin for joining us on interview. We really appreciate it, and best of luck to the St. Louis team. I am cheering for you guys once again, and we are going to be saying bye to Benjamin, but you will see him play once again next week, and I think Joe and I are actually ready to wrap up today's events. We had 2 awesome matches, and we are going to be going into this once again next week. But Joe, what are your thoughts about today? What stood out to you? What was your favorite moment?
Well, my first thought is we saw the top 2 teams compete. We saw them destroy their competition, and I'm really excited to see how they're going to do the rest of the season. But we still have a lot of other teams to cover, so looking forward to next week. Definitely the best moment was seeing Slew's top 3 board sweep. I mean, absolutely dominant performance, especially from Bach, as you've seen. And he's even streaming at the same time. So maybe he'll stream it every week. I hope so.
Hopefully. It's been really great seeing Collegiate Chess grow to this size. A huge shout out once again to our sponsor SIG for putting up the prizes and for making this broadcast possible, and a huge thank you as well to my co-commentator Joe for being an awesome partner in this event. And we are going to be bringing this to you every Saturday, so you should be here every Saturday. Support Collegiate Chess, support Chess.com, support SIG, support Benjamin Bok's college career. Thank you guys all very, very much for watching. It's been an awesome day, and I hope you guys have enjoyed watching the games as much as we have. And of course, thank you to all the producers. We appreciate you.
Thank you, Nemo. Thank you, chat. See you all next week.